Well, hot diggity dog, here we are for the Marketing Forecast, and we are live. Man, it is good to be here with you tonight, and I'm super pumped and excited because we have an unbelievable lineup of entrepreneurs who are all at the top of their game. And tonight, we're going to be talking to them about two things. I'm going to ask them two questions. Number one, what was your top marketing strategy of the past 12 months? And number two, what are the big opportunities that you're looking at going into the next 12 months? So I'm excited. I am just as pumped as you to find out what they're going to say. I got my notebook. It's all ready. Marketing Forecast Live. I will be taking notes right alongside with you. So I'm super pumped and excited to have you here joining us. And again, I want to kind of give you a lay of the land. So as you can see by this, broadcast page, we've got something special and neat here that our team has been working on. You can see right above me the amount of money that we have raised so far. Because if you have upgraded for the upgrade package, which includes unlimited replays, all the recordings, the transcripts, summary guides, and as you will see tonight, there are a few additional extras that will also be included, all for $27. 100% of that is going directly to hurricane relief in Florida. And this is why it's meaningful to us. This is why we're putting this on, because we had two of our team members who were directly impacted by the hurricane, and one of them had her home completely destroyed. So we want to do something about it. And the best way that I know how is to make a bunch of money and give it to a great cause. So that's exactly what we're doing tonight. So when you upgrade, 100% goes directly to helping those who were impacted by the hurricane. And also, speaking of which, so on this platform, if you have upgraded, you'll notice on the comments, I don't know what side, but one of these sides, you're going to see where you can comment. And that you'll be able to leave comments, you'll be able to ask questions, we're going to be taking questions throughout. You'll also, I want to hear your predictions. I want to hear what you think are going to be big trends. Do you think some of these are trends are off? Do you think some of the predictions are off or on, or what do you think? I want to know. Everybody who's upgraded will be able to comment and participate, and if you haven't upgraded yet, well, heck, what are you waiting for? Because I guarantee you, here's my promise to you, tonight will be jam-packed, full of incredible insights that you're going to want to refer to again and again and again. Now, that's that. We are also, so we've got our schedule. You can see the schedule, below with all of our incredible speakers who will be delivering a quick presentation tonight in terms of answering those two questions. It's going to be a conversation more than a presentation. So we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking about their top marketing strategy of the last 12 months and what are the big opportunities they think are going to be available for us, you and me, as entrepreneurs going into 2018. So I'm going to be asking them those two questions. Now, I will tell you that we have a wide variety of different types of entrepreneurs on here tonight. We have software companies. We have coaching and consulting. We have authors. We have, let me see here, copywriters. We have service providers. We've got a variety of different types of businesses. But the one thing that they all have in common is that they are all at the top of their game. And tonight we're going to be talking to them about how they have done that in 2017. And most importantly, what are they going to do going into 2018 to stay on top of their game? I want to know that as well. Plus, it would not be a live cast if we didn't have some goodies and giveaways, and so we'll have some of those as well, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that as we go through here tonight. Now, also, if you have questions, we will have periods throughout tonight's broadcast where you can ask questions. So I want to encourage you to do that because behind the scenes, the team is here helping manage tonight's broadcast, and so they're going to be feeding me some of the questions, and so we'll be able to ask some of those throughout. Now, we won't be able to ask everybody questions, but we will have periods throughout tonight where we will be able to ask questions. So listen, I'm excited. It's going to be a great night tonight. You're in for a real treat where we're going to be talking about those two things. Top marketing strategy from 2017 and with the big opportunities going into 2018. Now, can I ask a favor? Do you know one other person who could benefit from this? Just one. Just one. Share it with them. Tell them to go to MarketingForecastLive.com. Here's the bottom line. One of the big reasons that we're doing this, the biggest reason, is to raise a bunch of money. And I can tell you that we are already over $17,000. I'm just looking at the update, over $17,500, which is amazing. And so I want to continue to see that number climb and climb and climb as we go throughout tonight. So please share the broadcast with them. Tell them to go to MarketingForecastLive.com. Tell them to get registered. They'll get the info to be able to get on the broadcast right away. And of course, the more people that upgrade, and I'm talking to you too, if you haven't upgraded, the more people who upgrade, the more people we can help. Because 100% of the proceeds from everything tonight goes directly to people who were impacted from the hurricane. So we're super excited. It is a awesome lineup, and I cannot wait as we get started here. So here's one of the things that I want to share with you. I'm going to kick things off, and I'm going to share with you one little tactic that we used that helped us get our highest open rates and our highest click-through rate throughout the entire year. You curious? I mean, if you do any marketing online, chances are you are sending email. And so this could be tremendously valuable information. And it was one of those little things that came from an experiment. Quick aside, we just cracked $18,000. How amazing is that? Holla, everybody. Holla. High five to you. High five to everybody. We are on our way. That is awesome. Okay, so it was one of those little tactics that came from an experiment. And it came from just trying to mix things up. You know, and when you are communicating with your audience, if you communicate the same way over and over and over again, it becomes boring and people begin to turn a blind eye to it. So one of the things you got to do in marketing is you've got to mix things up so that you continue to get people's attention. Now, what did we do? Well, in this particular case, we had one email that was very short in nature. And essentially what it was, the opening line said something to the effect of a quick message for you. And it was a screenshot, a picture of me holding a piece of paper like this. It was actually a little bigger, like an 8.5 by 11. And it had their name on it. So it had their name right on the image. And because it had their name and personalized, you know, the image itself, people were super curious. And that drove the click-through rate through the roof. So it was our highest clicked-through email throughout the entire year. Now, there are a variety of different services that can help you do this. And I think maybe what I'll do is I'll see if the team can serve me up a couple of those links because I forget them offhand. But the point of the matter is that that one little tactic just came from just trying to experiment, just trying to keep things fresh, trying to keep mix things up. And like I said, because it was simple, it was short, and it was very curiosity driven, it had our highest click-through rate of the year. So that's one. Second thing that I will tell you, a little tactic that really helped us this particular year. When we were during a particular launch, you know, so every year we do a launch for our signature program. It's called Tribe. So this next year, it'll be March 15th. Mark that date down, tell everybody you know. March 15th. But during our launch last year, one of the things that we utilized was this little sales proof thing that came up. And so basically, like every time somebody bought this little like well, I don't even want to pop up. It's not a pop up per se, but this little indication came up on the sales letter that indicated that somebody had just bought and where they were from. And it was incredible because the social proof of that just validates that, hey, I'm not the only person who's buying, you know, because that's the fear that a lot of people have, that they're the only person that's going to buy and it's, you know, they don't believe you or they don't believe the product. This just validates the fact that, hey, this is a good product, people are buying it, and it definitely gave us a sales boost. And there are a variety of different types of services, again, that help you do that. I think one is called Proof. In our case, in particular, we had it where it was our team had developed that internally. But the good news is there's lots of services out there that make this super easy. Okay. So those are two of our quick tactical things that made a big difference this year. and I'll serve up the services that can help that. In fact, one of the things that we're going to be doing tonight throughout the broadcast is our team is going to be taking a note of any links and resources and stuff like that that is shared. That will be included in the summary guide, so you'll be able to continue to refer back to those again and again. So it just emphasizes the point. If you have not upgraded, go upgrade, because there's going to be so much goodness coming your way, and you're going to be able to get unlimited replays, the recordings, the transcripts of every word that has been mentioned, and of course the summary guide to make it easy to be able to go back through that stuff. And 100% goes directly to helping hurricane victims in Florida. Okay, my friends, so it is time to bring on the one and only, the lovely Carrie Green. So guys, is Carrie over there? Carrie's good. Carrie, how the heck are you, buddy?
Hi, I'm really good, thank you. It's so good to be here.
Yes, well, listen, I know that it is late where you are, and so I'm very grateful that you are up and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to join us for the Marketing Forecast. So thank you so much.
Wouldn't have missed it. Wouldn't have missed it.
Well, listen, just to give everybody, I'm going to give everybody my introduction of you. I don't have anything formal here, but what I want to do is I want to let everybody know who you are, because you are amazing. You know, Carrie and I first got to know Carrie several years ago. She's the founder of Female Entrepreneurs Association, and it is an amazing membership with thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs, and Carrie has been helping them for years continue to grow their business. She's also the author of the book She Means Business, and I'm super pumped and excited because we may just be giving away a couple copies of Carrie's book tonight. So I'm super pumped and excited about that. But Carrie, listen, you know how much I love and adore you, and I'm grateful that you're here. So thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for that. It's exciting.
Yes. Okay, so I want to dig into it. I want to ask you two questions. The first question I'm going to ask you is, what was your #1 marketing strategy for the past 12 months?
Okay, I've been thinking about this, and there have been lots of things. Like, I just heard you talk about proof, and I think that's been a genius one this year for us. But I think the biggest marketing shift that I've had that's led to the most growth is actually the shift in my mindset on marketing, from going from thinking that I'm building a business and marketing to build a business, to realizing that I am not actually building a business, I'm building a community, which, you know, I love community anyway, but this shift happened earlier on this year when I launched my first book, and it was the first time I'd done anything like it, and it made me realize, I started thinking, how do you market a book that's not even for sale yet, because you start the pre-launch months in advance, so you can't even buy this book yet, and when it is out, it's always available on Amazon, that you can buy it anytime. So what is the urgency for people to buy it now? And that's when I realized I'm not selling a book, I'm selling a community. And when I mean community, I mean like a collective group of people coming together because they resonate with you, they stand for what you stand for. And so to me, it's kind of like, how are you creating an experience that goes above and beyond to bring them into something, so they're so excited about it, so they want to pre-order something they can't even have in their hands for months and months and months. And that strategy has just helped me so much this year, because we've launched physical products, and it's really not been about like, how do you sell a pen? It's more like the experience that you create around selling the pen, like it's the magic manifesting pen. It's an experience. It's like bringing people together in a really powerful collective way. And that shift for me just changed everything, the way I looked at every little thing that I was doing, from marketing the membership site to promoting the book to doing the retreat to the, you know, to the planners and all that stuff. So that was the biggest shift that's just changed everything. I read an article as well this year, 1,000 True Fans. I've actually got it in front of me. It's by Kevin Kelly. It's really good. Everyone should go and read it. But it's about this concept of creating really true raving fans, but the only way you do that is by creating community. And yeah, that's the big shift. Business has changed. We've moved away from traditional build a business and sell stuff to how are we cultivating community and bringing people together. So yeah.
Well, and I love this, because you are one of the best when it comes to cultivating community. And I know, you know, being behind the scenes, you know, helping tens of thousands of membership site owners over the years, I see what people do when it comes to cultivate community and what works and what doesn't work. And you're at the top of your game on this. And one of the things that I think is so special is that you genuinely love to be with your people, and you know, and not only you being with your people, but getting your people and your community together, even if you're not there. And so can you speak to that about like some of the things that you're doing to really cultivate the community and what you have done to really ramp that up this year?
Yeah, so it's just like, so knowing what the message is that you're sharing and being able to connect with your audience in a way that they're going to really get it and love what you're saying, and bringing people together to, like, for example, online, so, you know, even in Facebook groups and that kind of thing, but like you also said, like getting people together offline, encouraging people to meet up offline, encouraging conversation between people. I think it's like just stamping a mark and saying, hey, this is what we stand for. And when you shout that from the rooftops and you spread that message far and wide of this is what we stand for, not this is what we're selling, that's what cultivates community and brings people together, because then someone can be like, oh my gosh, I stand for the exact same thing too. And that's how you bring people together. And when you shift from, like I said, I'm not selling a pen, I'm selling what this pen stands for, that's when you get the community of people that are like, oh my gosh, I'm behind it, I need the pen, I need the pen, I need the pen. So, and that's just simple, like you don't have to have like a Facebook group or meet up to cultivate community. It's just like a collective spirit. And yeah, there's obviously so many different things you can do, but I think it's literally that, just knowing what you stand for and really sharing that. I think that's the most powerful thing. And
it was awesome this year too, because I think this year, and I don't want to put thoughts in your mind, but I would say that your confidence in your business shifted this year because you started reaching out, you started trying some new things that you've never done before, like with the retreats, like with selling physical products. And like you said, that was so much driven by the community itself that it naturally was being produced. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, definitely. And like then you can lean on them for guidance of like what they actually want and what they need from you, and then it just makes everything a million times easier. Which just goes back to the concept of 1,000 true fans. It's like 1,000 true fans that can help guide the way and show you how you can keep moving your business forward and, you know, providing things that they're going to continually want from you. So yeah, it's been amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. I mean, one of the writers down, if you ever see my head go down, by the way, Carrie, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's because I'm taking notes myself. And I love that you said, this is what we stand for versus this is what we're selling. I love that little shift in the mind and how that has certainly helped you this year. So now I want to ask you, I want to kind of shift gears, and I want to ask you about going into the new year. So as entrepreneurs that are at the top of our games, we're always thinking about like what's next and what we need to do to position our business accordingly and how we're going to get there. So for you, as you're going into the new year, you know, what big trends or big opportunities do you see that you're looking to capitalize on?
So obviously still focused on the community aspect, and also a byproduct of that for me is video, of like creating the engagement. And I've always done video, but I am stepping it up another level, and I think everyone really needs to, because video is just taking over. It's what we consume more and more and more and more. And it's also a really powerful way to create a really engaged audience. And so this, at the end of this year, what I've been focusing on more is with my weekly videos, for example, I advertise those, like boost the posts on Facebook, so that I can then retarget those people that have watched 50 or 100% of that video, because people who watch 100% of the video are so engaged. And this is something that every single one of us can tap into when we produce a piece of video content. So for next year, I'd say everyone needs to be like tapping into video, putting themselves out there. And if you don't want to be in front of the camera, you could still be doing videos of, you know, showing a slide or showing your screen or something. But then to be able to boost that on Facebook so that you can then start to segment your audience into people who are super engaged with you, and then target those people, that's not about target, but, you know, like reach out to those people and share more of what you've got with them. I think that will be a really powerful strategy for people for 2018.
Well, and I think too, there's the strategy behind the strategy of what you just talked about there, and that not only is the video powerful because it it's engaging with the audience, but number two was the thing that you said was that it allows you to easily identify the people who are hyper engaged with your content. So when it comes to getting offers and products and messages in front of the people that care the most, it makes that process so much easier, because you can easily identify, hey, these are the most engaged people who have consumed, as you said, 100% of the video. Anybody who's consuming 100% of your videos, they love what you're producing. So, you know, it's about getting that your offers in front of the right people. And I think that that's just the strategy behind the strategy, which is really, really powerful.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited to use it more next year, because I'm just going to build up that audience of like super engaged people, because they're the ones who I really want to be getting in front of and reaching out to. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. Well, now listen, I want to also ask you, what advice would you have for other entrepreneurs as we're all moving forward? So there's a million and one things that we can be doing, a million and one things that we can think about doing. You obviously are doubling down on video, but you also work with a lot of entrepreneurs. So talk to me about, like, what are you seeing that could really be helpful for everybody as they begin to plan for the new year?
Planning for the new year, I feel like it's all, does this have to relate to marketing? Well, this does relate to marketing, but I feel like it all comes back to thinking big and setting the bar higher. I've recently just spoken to so many people, like even the VPs of billion-dollar companies, and not knowing how it was going to relate to me as a small business owner. But when I realized they are doing things that every single small business owner, entrepreneur needs to be doing, kind of blew my mind. And what I realized were that they're doing the same things we do, but they are thinking so much bigger. They set the bar so much higher. So I feel like going into 2018, it is setting the bar higher with the reach that you want to have, the marketing, the impact that you want to create for 2018. It's just a mindset thing, isn't it? Like, the only thing that gets us from where we are now to where we want to be is what's going on inside of us. Because even the great marketing decisions that we make, it's an internal decision. So I think just focusing on how are we going to dream bigger, think bigger, be more courageous in 2018, so that we can go out there and have the impact that we want to have. I think that's a really important focus.
Oh, that's awesome, Carrie. Well, listen, buddy, I'm going to see here, we've gotten, I'm looking at the comments. People are loving, by the way, your quote, this is what we stand for versus this is what we are selling. So that's a good tweetable. Share that one, everybody. And let's see here. And let's see, Tanya said, oh my goodness, that is exact focus in 2018, building community of 1,000 Michelles. That's the name of my true fans. That's awesome. Damon says, targeting people that watch my videos more than 80%. Help me grow my subscription group from 600 to 1,400 in 2 months. Man, that's a testament to exactly what you're talking about. So thank you, Damon, for sharing that. And Kevin commented on that too. He said, so freaking epic. Love this ad strategy. So thank you, everybody who is commenting and contributing. And Carrie, this was awesome. Thank you so much. Any final words as we wind down here?
Just, I don't know, just go for it. So much as possible. Like, we can all build crazy successful businesses, just like one step at a time. Just like you always say, keep it simple as well. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated, does it?
Yeah, oh, exactly. Yeah, I think that's where the magic is for everybody, is keeping it simple and then moving forward at one thing at a time.
Yeah, definitely. But no, thank you so much for letting me be part of this. It's amazing, and I'm so excited to hear everyone else, even though it's ridiculously late here.
Yes. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much, Carrie. Really appreciate you jumping on. I know it's late, and everybody's loved what you said so far, so thank you so much, buddy.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much.
All right, cheers. Take care. All right. Sweet. What a great start. Carrie is amazing, isn't she? Well, one of the things that I want to do, this was unannounced. This was, I don't know how we're going to do this. You know what? I'll tell you how I'm going to do it. I am going to pick one of the first comments. I'm going to pick here. Let's see. I'm just going to do it randomly. Let's pick... Well, I already mentioned it. The first comment that I went to was, I think it's Tani Chambers. I think that's how I pronounce it, but if I'm wrong, let me know. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a copy of Carrie's book, She Means Business. It is an amazing book. And so one of the things that we'll do, I have no idea logistically how we're going to do this, but our team will find a way to get in touch with you to be able to get your address so that we can send you a copy of Carrie's book. But that's what we got. We got lots of goodies, lots of giveaways. I'm going to task the team, if possible, to help me figure out how to give away more stuff. But we've got, because I have stuff to give away. I just don't know how to give it away. So I'll task the team with that. But here's what I want to do is I want to give you an update. We are closing in now on $19,000. So that's super exciting. So you can see Carrie's book, which is right there. If you haven't got a copy yet, that's one that you definitely want to go check out. It's called She Means Business. And also she has an amazing podcast too. So go check that one out as well. But Carrie Green is awesome. She's the founder of the Female Entrepreneurs Association. And so you can go there and find out more about Carrie as well. But listen, we are just getting started, my friends. We are just getting started. We've got so much to look forward to. Coming up next is the one and only Ryan Levesque. So we'll be queuing Ryan up here in just a few minutes. But I want to get a pulse from you. What did you think about what Carrie said? Let me know in the comments. I'm seeing here Chelsea said, one step at a time. Let's see, which is gold and so hard for ambitious entrepreneurs. Listen, Chelsea, I get it. As ambitious entrepreneurs, we want to do more, right? In fact, I was talking to, who was I talking to? This was just like right before. Oh, I was talking to Jeff Walker's students. And we were talking about how, I was talking to them about how in my business in particular, in our business, we try to keep things super simple because the reality of it is, I believe, now this isn't what everybody believes, and that's okay. Everybody's got different thoughts about it. But one of the things that I've known to be true over my career is the more things I try to get involved with, the less things I actually do really well. And so let's flip that. The less things I do, the more things I can do at a really high level. And so I think this kind of speaks to what Carrie was saying. Tonight, you're going to get a ton of different ideas. You're going to get a ton of different things that you can do. One of the things I want to encourage you is to prioritize them. Just focus on a few and do them really well. Because here's the magic. When you focus on a few, you can go to a level that very few can go. So it's, for example, like for us, you know, when we are launching, one of my philosophies for a launch is we have a really long runway and I clear off the calendar. We try not to have anything else, you know, 2 or 3 months leading up to it. So our next big launch, for example, for our signature course program is in March 15th. But from January onwards, the calendar is pretty much clear so that we can solely focus on that. And it's hard for ambitious entrepreneurs to have that discipline, but I can tell you from experience that has been one of the biggest assets to us is just being able to focus on a few things. And Carrie certainly echoed that tonight. Mary, thank you for that. Mary said, such an amazing event so far. Happy to be here. Thank you. Sarah Murray, I just see yours. She said the video Facebook targeting is so on point. 95% of marketers are doing Facebook ads wrong. They are not connecting and building community. They are just going straight for the lead gen. Relationships all the way. I couldn't agree more there, Sarah. That's exactly, you know, echoes what Carrie was saying. So thank you for that. Raina said, I like her statement, very inspiring, can't wait for the rest of the talk. Kayleen said, I love that building community is replacing selling. Who really wants to market anyway? Love it, love it, love it. You guys are awesome. Look at this. Okay, look at us. We are closing in on $19,000 raised for our incredible cause, which is all the people in Florida who were impacted by the hurricane. And as I mentioned at the top of the call, this is near and dear to us because we've had 2 of our team members who were in the thick of that hurricane. One had her home completely destroyed. That's what's inspired all of this. That's why I'm so grateful for the people that are showing up. I'm so grateful for Carrie, where it was like, goodness knows what hour. I mean, it's past midnight over there in the UK, and I'm grateful that she was joining us. I'm grateful for Ryan Levesque, who's coming up in the broadcast. I can't wait to hear from him. And I'm grateful for everybody. Kevin Rogers, who's going to be speaking a little bit later. Rachel Miller, who is... you're going to see. She's got so much energy and awesomeness to bring. James Wedmore, who I'm excited about. Oh, guys, I've got an echo coming on somewhere. I think somebody's microphone's... I'm not sure what that is. This just shows that we're live. This just shows we're live. I'm hearing, I think I'm hearing myself. Anyways, this just shows we're live, folks. So I don't know what that is, but it's really weird because I can hear myself talking in my ears. So I'm gonna pull myself out for a second. But here's the thing. We got, so as I said, we got James Wedmore coming up, Amy Porterfield, Jeff Walker, and Russell Brunson. It's going to be amazing. So you're in for a real treat. And with that, I'm going to get ready to queue up Ryan Levesque here in just a minute. Now, one of the things I do want to tell you is that Ryan Levesque, we pre-recorded earlier this afternoon because we're going to let him off the hook. It's his wife's birthday. So listen, I couldn't take him away from Tylene tonight. We got to let him go celebrate her birthday. So we pre-recorded Ryan earlier this afternoon. But here's what I can tell you. What Ryan mentions in his upcoming piece is eye-opening. And it got us, immediately after we pre-recorded his particular session, we began talking about not only were his big takeaways from 2017, but most importantly, his insights and predictions going into 2018. It was amazing, and it immediately sparked a discussion in our office in terms of what he said and how we're going to begin planning around it accordingly. But I can't wait to share that with you. And of course, as soon as we're finished with Ryan, we're going to be back, and we'll have some more giveaways as well. So stay tuned for that. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to the team to queue up our interview earlier today with Ryan. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have the legendary Ryan Levesque. Ryan, thanks so much for joining us. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to give everybody a quick intro. So just in case you don't know Ryan, he is the author of Ask, which was a huge breakthrough in the marketing world. I think, was it Inc. or Forbes named it like one of the top marketing books of the year. That then catapulted his company, the Ask Method. And Ryan, you got a great course. There's a huge conference, and we just came back from that, which was amazing. But what you have taught has completely revolutionized the way people are marketing online, because it's taking this concept of not all customers should be treated as one, and that you can actually have a far greater impact on your conversions and your sales and so forth by bucketing them. And so with that, I just want to thank you first and foremost, and welcome you to the Marketing Forecast.
Well, Stu, it's awesome to be here. It's an honor to be included among a pretty awesome lineup that you have as part of this this panel. So I'm excited to be here and excited to, I think, share a prediction for 2018 with you that even you are going to be excited to hear about.
Woo, juiciness. Now, if that's not a hook, I don't know what is. So listen, you had a huge year. I mean, your company was in Inc.'s top 500 this year. You've made massive strides, massive growth, and that hockey stick curve is still going. So what happened in 2017 in terms of what happened in this year that made it such a big year? What was your top marketing strategy of the year?
Yeah, our top marketing strategy of the year is something that is a big part of what we teach in the methodology that is now known as the Ask Method, which is we double down on putting people into different buckets. And what that means is when someone comes into our world, before we sell to them, before we communicate with them, we begin by asking questions to understand where they're at in their business, so we can put in front of them the right products, the right messages, the right offers that really line up with what it is that they're looking to accomplish in their business. And it's not something that's necessarily new, but it is something that we made a concerted effort to double down on across every single one of our products. And I'll give you like a few examples of how we're doing that. So number one, we do this on the marketing side of our business. When someone signs up for our email list, before they sign up, we ask at least one, oftentimes multiple questions to understand where they're at. And then we customize the videos, the emails, the content that they receive from us based on where they're at in their business. So for example, if someone is looking to figure out what market to go into, they're like just trying to choose their market, they're going to get different content from us than someone who is already at a six-figure level in their business and they want to scale from 6 to 7 figures. Now, the thing that we, I'll give you an example of how we doubled down on that this year. We now do this in every single one of our programs on the product side. And this is something you'll be interested in because you teach people how to build, membership sites. And oftentimes when you are in the business of selling information and expertise, you have people join your programs who are at different levels. So they might sign up for your online course, they might join your membership site. And so what we do is after someone purchases, we also put them into different buckets so we can customize what their action plan is based on where they're at in their business. So in our coaching and mentorship program, we have people go through an assessment that identifies where they're at in their business, and we give them a custom 90-day roadmap for what they should focus on in their business based on where they are right now. So we just double down in every area of our business. You were at our live event. You notice at our live event, we put people into different buckets, right? So every element of our business is designed now to identify where someone's at, put them in the right bucket so we can help them better have success.
And I think that that's the biggest thing that I've learned from you is that the bucket is not just something to use on the front end from a conversion standpoint, which it does help pretty effectively on that. But you, as you said, have doubled down and made this a part of like the whole business. So it's not just the front end in terms of the conversion, but it's also as far as the experience goes for people consuming your products, consuming your courses, attending your events, and so forth. By the way, that was like the first question I asked, because like when I came to your event, I'm like, why am I in purple? Like, why do I have a purple lanyard? And it was funny because, Brian's just like, he just smiled and he said, you've been bucketized,
That's super funny.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, it's totally true. Yeah, and that's exactly one of the things that we do, so it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, great. And I know you've got some examples of how you've applied this, and you mentioned them. And I just want to mention for everybody that Ryan is also going to throw in a couple swipe file examples so we can see what he's been doing this year to put this in practice. That's going to be included in the upgrade package, which I'm super excited for. So thank you for that, Ryan. Okay, second thing that I wanted to ask you is about your predictions moving forward. So we're going into the new year. This is a lot of things are happening online, and and I'm very curious from your perspective what you're doing to prepare yourself and your company, and what big opportunities do you see?
Yeah. Now, I naturally see the world in buckets. It's just how my brain works, and I see buckets everywhere, and there are different ways that you can put your customers into different buckets. And there's a way in which we are going to be applying buckets in. It's a philosophical shift around how to think about your customers. And it stems from a book that I recently read that is my #1 book of 2017. It's the best book that I read. It's had the biggest impact on me. And it's a book called The Four by Scott Galloway. And the reason why I was looking at my phone earlier is I wanted to pull it up because I have the Kindle version here on my iPhone. It looks like this. It's called The Four by Scott Galloway. And basically, it's a book, it's an expose of sorts that talks about the 4 companies in the world today that are having the biggest impact in the world. And those 4 companies are Google, Facebook, Apple, and Amazon. And the book has uncovered some, in some cases, scary and startling things that are going to be happening in this world as a result of these companies holding so much power. The fact that like Amazon is putting so many companies out of business and eliminating jobs. Some of the things that Apple has done in their business. But the bottom line is the big opportunity, and the bottom line is this for small businesses like ours. I believe that you need to have a strategy for each of these 4 channels. These 4 channels represent 4 buckets of very different types of customers. So you got to think about it like this. There's a Facebook customer, a customer who comes into your world through Facebook, and you need a Facebook strategy. There are companies that come into your world through Amazon, and you need an Amazon strategy to take advantage of that marketplace to bring customers through into your world through Amazon. You need a Google strategy, and similarly, you need an Apple strategy. So I'll talk about a few examples of how we're executing on this in 2018 and beyond. And you're already doing some of this as yourself. Apple. What is a big strategy that every single one of us in the business of selling information expertise can take advantage of? Well, of course, it's a podcast. Right? So have an iTunes podcast. And an iTunes Apple buyer is a different buyer than someone who comes in through Facebook ads. And so on the Amazon side of things, that's another strategy that we're going to be expanding upon. So I've got my second book that's going to be releasing probably at the end of 2018, early 2019. We're going to be doubling down on Amazon as a strategy to build our buyer base. We're going to be building out an advertising strategy around leveraging Amazon. Amazon is now a big advertising platform that you can advertise on. We've got a super secret physical product that we're working on as well in Amazon. So the point is this. You look at these 4 companies and you look at all the different things you could be doing online. These are them. You want to have a Facebook strategy, a Google strategy, an Amazon strategy, and an Apple strategy, and that's it. Like, you can ignore all the other stuff. Those are the 4 that are dominating our world that you want to take advantage of. Those are the 4 big buckets that exist in every market. Your Amazon buyers, your Google buyers, your Facebook buyers, and your Apple buyers.
Dude, this is, you're right. You have never talked about this. This is amazing. And it's got my wheels turning, because it's like one of those things where oftentimes people would say, yeah, but I'm not going to bother with Amazon because typically that's like e-commerce space, or like just for, authors or whatever. But what you're saying is, hey, listen, this is a very real scenario in terms of one of the biggest places to find customers. And so you've got to get thinking about that. And it even with the Google, like, I mean, I can't even remember the last time that I ran any Google ads, or I had, a Google strategy specifically. But this is awesome, dude, because it's, I can't wait to, I wrote down the book, The Four from Scott Galloway. I can't wait to go read that. But I love how you've taken the insights from it and then applied it to your business. Thank you so much for sharing.
Totally. And I think it's one that every single person listening to this call hopefully will start thinking about how you want to capitalize on each of these. And as far as I love to leave people with action steps, like where to go from here. So the first action step is, and I'm not incentivized in any way, shape, or form, but read the book. Read The Four, Scott Galloway. I think it's going to open up your eyes to some huge things that are happening online. So that's step one. Step two is, if you don't have a strategy for any of these in place right now, my recommendation would be pick one to start with and focus on that one exclusively. That's it. Just pick one. If you have strategies in place for more than one of these, I would rank them. That's what I did. I gave myself a score out of 10 on each of these. And I said, okay, in this platform here, we're doing a 7 out of 10. That's one that we're doing pretty decent on. But this other one here, we're doing like 1 out of 10. So there's huge opportunity just to do some low-hanging fruit things that are going to get us from a 1 out of 10 to maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10. And that's where I would spend some time as far as next immediate action steps to take action on the strategy.
Dude, it's brilliant. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for you. Thank you for being you. I mean it. You and I have developed a great friendship over the last few years, and I got such admiration for the way that you have continued to innovate and push the space. And this is just a perfect example. You're one of those guys that thinks on a different level. And thank you for participating in the forecast. Thank you for sharing your big takeaways from the previous 12 months, and also what you're doing to prepare for the next 12. So thanks, buddy.
Thank you. And I'll leave you with one final very serious thought, and that's this. You may have some plastic ferns in your office, but I have some real ferns right behind me. So.
Come on now. Those are real. I can show you the dead ones that are just around the corner to prove the point.
Thanks again, man.
All right, buddy. Cheers. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Wow. Wasn't that amazing? Listen. I told you that you were going to get the goods tonight, and we are 2 speakers in, and as soon as I heard what Ryan was sharing, I was writing down, I was taking notes on that. And again, if you didn't get that, everything's going to be obviously contained in the transcripts and the summary guides and so forth. So for those of you who have upgraded, well, the good news is that we're going to continue to capture all these ideas for you, so you'll be able to refer to them again and again. But I just love what he talked about, especially how he took insights from the book, The Four, and then applied them with his, synthesis of it in terms of what that means for us as entrepreneurs. And I had never heard him talk about these concepts before, and so I was excited. This immediately started a conversation with us inside the office in terms of, again, how do we begin applying some of this to our own business. And I can see from the comments that some of you are already thinking about the same. Okay, so a couple things that I want to get to. Number one, if you've got questions, make sure you ask them. So that's the first thing, because we're going to have some time actually right now before we bring on Kevin Rogers to answer some of those questions. So if you got questions, make sure you ask them. Number two, I know we have had some technical difficulties with people being able to log in and comment. For that, we apologize. This is, again, just a real live broadcast, and we've had a lot of people hit the servers all at once, and that's what's kind of causing the challenges. But our team is working on it behind the scenes, and I think we are very close to having all of that resolved if anybody has been experiencing challenges. Number three, if you have not upgraded yet, what the heck are you waiting for? $27, and you're going to get the recordings, unlimited replays, the transcripts, and all of these ideas summarized down so that you can begin taking action on it. And so I know, Peter Beddoes, I saw your question about that, like, will there be a replay of this? Yes, there will be a replay for everybody who upgrades. That's part of what we're offering tonight. And 100% of everything that is contributed here is going directly to hurricane relief in Florida. So this is what we're doing to help support that cause, and the replays are certainly part of that. So if you do have to go, no problem. Just open up the wallet, spend $27 so you can refer to this stuff again and again and again. That's what I say. All right, so the other thing that I want to do is we are going to give away some more goodies, because that's just what we like to do around here. So we're going to give away a few copies of Ryan's book, Ask. And so I want to, drum roll, blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. We're going to give away some copies to people who have upgraded. So we've randomly picked some people to send these books to. So if you're watching and your name gets called, make sure you reach out to our team, or our team will find a way to reach out to you so we can get your info. So I want to give a congratulations to Angela Keys, Mike Dion, and Candace Cruz. Well, my friends, you just won yourself a copy of Ryan Levesque's Ask. So we'll be sending that to you. So congratulations. We got more goodies to come. The night is just going to continue to get better and better. So let me see here. We've got questions coming in. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I'm going back through. I see lots of questions coming in from people and comments from both what Carrie was saying and what Ryan has said, which is awesome. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, you guys are an active bunch. Let's see. Okay. Sorry. So I'll just read a couple. So Wendy Batten was saying 1,000 true fans, which Carrie Green mentioned earlier. She said, looking forward to reading that. I think if you just search 1,000 true fans, you'll be able to find that online. Kim Edwards said, I just love the fact that Carrie was so passionate and genuine to the max. I think that counts for so much today. I totally agree on that one. Man, this is getting refreshed quickly. Mike Murphy said, Ryan equals super smart. With super spelled super. Let's see here. Owen asked the question, is anyone else marketing to the 4 different personality types or personality buckets? It's a great question, Owen. We haven't been doing that in our particular business. The way we've been bucketizing our business is based on exactly what we've learned from Ryan. One of the things that we discovered was we had different avatars or client types. For our particular business, we help people build recurring revenue streams into their business with membership sites. And what we found was we had entrepreneurs at all ends of the spectrum. We had entrepreneurs who were in the very early stages of growing their business, and so they're still getting clarity around who they're going to serve and how they're going to serve them and the problems that they're going to look to solve. And then we have people on the far other end of the spectrum who have very established businesses, people who have been running 7, 8, and even 9-figure businesses. And so there's a huge spectrum in between with those two groups, and then there's everybody in between. And so what we've discovered is that the reality of how we market and serve those different groups of people is really based on kind of where they're at in the evolution of their business. And so that's how we've been doing it, not by personality types, but essentially where they are in their growth. And so that's how we've done it. So I haven't experimented with the personality types, but here's what I will tell you. As somebody who has been behind the scenes when it comes to membership sites and particularly delivering content, what I can tell you is very important are learning styles if you are in the business of providing or teaching any type of material to your audience. Learning styles are very important because the name of the game these days is not the volume of content that you produce, but the speed of which people can implement the content you produce. So it's not about producing volumes of content and people consuming it. Now what I'm seeing as one of the trends is really catering to the way that people learn so that they can implement things easier and faster. So that means that different people like to learn in different ways. Some like to learn visually like this. Others like to learn auditorily. Some like to read and take text. That's why if you look at the upgrade package tonight, it caters to all those needs. The replays for the video people, the audio for the audio recordings for the audio people, the transcripts and the summaries for the people that like to read. So that's one of the ways that we have been catering to different learning styles, but not so much in the personality style. So I think that's a great insight, Owen. Thank you for that. Okay, Trisha said, looking forward to what Rachel can share about Amazon and James about Facebook and Amy about Apple and podcasts. Great strategies, Ryan. And some, oh, I just lost it here. Where is it? Oh no, I just lost it. It got free. Oh, and some great representative of those buckets here. I love it. Yes, absolutely. That's what this amazing lineup does for us, Trisha. It allows us to be able to speak to a broad range of subject matter, and it's just nicely segued. Is that even a word? Segued? Segues into some of the upcoming speakers. So great comments here from Owen and Jennifer. Thank you for that. Stacy said, our Facebook strategy for our ice cream stand is to have a very interactive group. Worked, our Black Friday sales exploded. Our Apple strategy is to do an ice cream stand podcast about the products, about the customers, and about other fellow ice cream stand operators. Love that. I would never have thought of that, Stacey. That's amazing. So we're growing our platform like crazy, she said, and we're just an ice cream stand that's almost $1 million. Holy cow, Stacey, that's an amazing, amazing story. That's incredible. I love how you're using these strategies for your ice cream stand. Incredible. And for $1 million operation as an ice cream stand, that is pretty amazing. Okay, let's see here. Marie said, I'd love to know what all of you rock stars are thinking about net neutrality. Are you worried? I think it's mostly just a scare, doing anything to protect your business. That's a great question. It was a discussion in our office. You know, it got brought up by Justin, who was discussing it the other day, and we were all, you know, commenting on it. Personally, I don't know yet. I don't know what my, I don't have an opinion on it yet. I mean, it's something for all of us to be aware of, especially because we are, you know, marketing products online. We're using the internet to be able to communicate, to be able to connect with our audience, to deliver our message, to market our products. So it's something that we all need to be aware of. But I don't know that I've formed an opinion one way or the other yet. But that's a great question, discussion point. Vince said, should entrepreneurs with new offers have the cart open always, or do you recommend closing the cart? Is there a proving time? Well, here's what I would say, Vince. I don't necessarily think that it's an open or a closed question, per se. I think it's more about you getting going and helping a group of people get results. Here's what I think is the most valuable thing if you're in the early stages, which it sounds like you are. In the early stages, I think it's more valuable for you to work hand in hand with people who are in your target market so that you can get great case studies. Because here's the thing that we use heavily in our business. And in fact, you're going to start to see us in our business. We have our launch is March 15th. Mark it down, tell everybody about it. March 15th. But what we do from January onwards is we start sharing stories, client case study stories. And because we have a thing that we believe in our office, and I don't know, actually, Sandra, would you be able to look through, there's a pile of paper over there, and there's the circle of awesomeness. If you can find that diagram, I want to share it with everybody here. But we have this thing that we believe in our company. It's called the circle of awesomeness. And basically, it starts with, look at this, here we go, perfect. We have our very own Vanna bringing it over. There we go, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so here it is. I don't know if the camera can zoom in a little. See if you guys could get that. This is the circle of awesomeness. And basically, what it means is, in our business, everything starts with making a sale. Once we've made a sale, the whole focus of the company comes down here to stage number 2, which is helping our customers and clients get results. Because if we can help them get results, then we come to stage 3, which is we have a great story to tell. And if we've got a great story to tell, that makes our marketing easy and effortless, which is going to help us generate a lot more sales. So the focus of the company is, once you've made a sale, help clients get results. Because once you got results, man, that's what people are wanting from you. That's why people are buying from you, is they're wanting to go from A to B easier or faster. They're wanting to get some kind of a result. And so at the end of the day, we believe in the circle of awesomeness. And what I would say to you, Vince, is in the early stages, the most important thing you can get is traction, working with people to help them get a result, because that's going to make your marketing easy and effortless, because all you're doing at that point is you're just telling stories. You're not having to sell. You know, it's not like the old school, like, hardcore close. You know, like, you know, I just bought a car recently, and it was like one of the most disgusting sales experiences I've had in a long time. Like, old school used car salesman. It was awful, and couldn't stand it. And I hate, even for me, like, I can't stand selling that way. And so the way that we sell is we sell through story. And so I'd say the same thing for you, Vince. In the early stages, there's nothing more valuable for you than great customer stories. And what I would say is work with a small group of people. Even if you, in the beginning, are working with a small group of people for free, the most valuable thing that you can get from that experience for your marketing and for your business long-term are those case studies. So that's what I would suggest. So it's not so much whether you're open or closed. I think in the beginning, where you're going to get the most traction is by working with people and helping them get results, so that you've got stories to tell. That's the most valuable asset you can have in your marketing. Okay. Let's see. David Cooper said, learning styles is so important, Stu. As a college professor, I can tell you all of the above is huge. Read audio, video, and most importantly, stories, examples that they can relate to. Awesome. Thank you for that, David. Okay, look, great. I see some people who had challenges earlier logging in and now able to log in. That's awesome. Jennifer Priest also posted the link to the 1,000 True Fans article. So thank you for that, Jennifer. Awesome. All right, gang. So here's the thing. We are gearing up for our next amazing speaker who is on cue, and I'm really excited to bring him on. That's the one and only Kevin Rogers. So we're going to be queuing him up here in a few minutes. But I just want to get a pulse for you. How are you doing? I'm just checking in with you. How are you, the listeners, doing? Let me know in the comments. Looks like... so you're welcome, Vince. Vince was just saying, thanks, dude. Very real approach. Much appreciated. You're welcome. Listen, there's a reason we've got this here in the office. There's a reason we believe in it, buddy. It's not, I'm not just sharing it with you. This is what we live, eat, and breathe. And you're going to see that. Like, we live for those case study stories. And so I just recommend you start collecting those now. And the focus is just helping people get results, helping people make progress in some way in their business, their life, or however you're helping them. But it's the stories of that progress that sell and make it easy to make more sales in the future. Okay. So it looks like Robin's in, which is awesome. And again, yeah, just a reminder, because I saw some other questions about this. The replays are going to be available for everybody who has upgraded. So if you have upgraded, which means you've paid the $27, you're going to get unlimited access to the replays. You're going to get recordings, video and audio. You're going to get transcripts. Oh, yes. Okay, and thank you. The team was just telling me about something. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So you get the replays, the audio and video recordings. You're also going to get the transcripts. You're going to get the summary guides. Plus, you're going to get some of the goodies. Ryan mentioned some of those, meaning his swipe files and examples of what he talked about here tonight. We'll be including those as well, so it just keeps getting better and better. All of that for $27. So if you would like all of the replays, recordings, summary guides, and the swipe file examples, make sure you upgrade before midnight tonight, where it's $27. After midnight, price goes up to $97. So you'll save yourself a huge chunk of change. But here's the good news. No matter what price you pay, whether it's $27 or $97, 100% of it is going to a great cause where we're going to be sending it all. 100% of the proceeds are going directly to helping hurricane victims in Florida. Because, again, we were impacted by this. Two of the people on our team were in the thick of that hurricane. One of them had her house destroyed, which was just heart-wrenching and it's heartbreaking, because now, and here's the harsh reality of what people in Florida are still dealing with. There are some people who still do not have homes. There are people who are still dealing with all kinds of craziness. In particular, the person on our team where she had her home destroyed, the insurance companies are causing all kinds of havoc. She had both flooding insurance and hurricane insurance, and the hurricane insurance is saying that the house wasn't destroyed from the hurricane, it was destroyed from the flood. And the flooding insurance is saying it wasn't from the flood, it was the hurricane. And so she's not getting anywhere with either of them. It's just an absolute gong show mess. And she is not the only one. There are thousands of people in Florida who are still impacted by this, and that's where 100% of the proceeds are going. Now, here's the good news. I'm looking over at the numbers. We are closing in on $20,000. $20,000, which is amazing. So I'm super pumped. Thank you for being a huge part of that, and we look forward to continuing to deliver on that here tonight. So one other thing before we get to Kevin, we got him coming up here in just 1 minute. If you know one other person who could benefit from what has already been shared tonight and what is coming up tonight, share it with them. Send them to MarketingForecastLive.com so they can be part of the live broadcast, and of course, so they can upgrade and contribute and be part of the amazingness that we are going to bring to Florida. So with that, I've got the okay from the team. I'm going to bring on the one and only Mr. Kevin Rogers. Kevin, are you there, buddy?
What's up, brother?
There he is. Listen.
How are you, Stu?
Buddy, I am so pumped and excited. Thank you so much for joining. I want to give everybody a quick Stu introduction to Kevin. So, listen, all you need to know about Kevin is he is a master at copy. He is the founder over at Copy Chief, and Kevin has not only supported and helped so many great people write copy for their products and services, but he has really cultivated the copy community, helping other copywriters build their businesses and grow themselves. So listen, Kevin, I'm just honored and grateful that you're here. And I think one of the things that I want to share with everybody is as soon as I talked to Kevin about what we were doing here with the Marketing Forecast, he's like, dude, I'd love to be a part of that. And a big reason why is Kevin himself was in the midst of the whole hurricane and experienced it firsthand. And so, Kevin, I'm just grateful that you're here, and thank you so much for participating.
Thank you, Stu. I'd follow you anywhere, my brother. And, you know, it really is it's extra personal to me. So, you know, I really appreciate you letting me become part of this. Look, just to give everybody some perspective, man, it's funny, when a hurricane comes like that, nobody knows what to do. It's a mad scramble. The police are driving through the neighborhood. They're on the loudspeaker and they say, this is a mandatory evacuation. If you don't leave now, we won't save you. Like, because they don't know if they'll be able to get to you. They have to be really blunt about it, right? And so we fled to Orlando, and we were at a Hyatt. We were fortunate to have a reservation a few days earlier, and we stayed in that hotel overnight. A funny thing and a scary thing, just to give some perspective on what this hurricane was. When I woke up the next morning, you hear the winds blowing against the window, and you just assume, all right, we're safe, we're in this big hotel. I got up the next morning and opened the curtains. A giant chunk of stucco from across onto the next tower was ripped off of the hotel. I mean, fortunately, there was nobody in that room. You could almost see into the room, Stu. It was unbelievable. And that was in Orlando. That wasn't a direct hit, right? So just to bring, because, you know, the headlines go cold, right? And we move on to the next thing. There's no shortage of breaking news. But for people like your staff and your friends and a lot of people I know here, man, they're still like living next to what used to be their house. Just imagine you go to bed one night and things are normal. You wake up the next morning and nothing's normal, and it doesn't get normal for months later. So it's a thrill to be a part of this, and you know, it's gonna go to a great cause. Now, the funny thing was, there were 700 dogs in this hotel, Stu, because it was one of the first dog-friendly hotels. So everybody's out walking their dogs, and then a curfew came because the wind started picking up, and it was hurricane time, and they're locked down the hotel. It was a curfew, and everybody's got their dogs, and we started asking, well, what do we do if the dogs need to go outside? And they were like, try the bathtub. I mean, they had no plan for anything like this, right? So thank God we were able to get out and get on the road home the next day. Otherwise, it would have been pretty nasty mess in that hotel. So it just chaos, and I'm glad we can do something to help the people who are still suffering through it.
Well, listen, buddy, I appreciate you giving us some perspective, because I think it is hard for people to, wrap their heads around what happened, but then what is continuing to happen, and as you said, the headlines have gone cold. You don't hear too much about it anymore, but it doesn't take away from the fact that people are still dealing with the harsh reality of what came and went with that hurricane. So thank you for that. So let's dive into it, Kev. I want to find out, like, tonight we're talking about, our top marketing strategies of the year, and we're also talking about our predictions for the upcoming year. So let's start with first and foremost, like, for you and your business, can you give people some perspective on what helped your business grow in the most effective way during the past 12 months?
Yeah, great question. So it all comes down to emotional impact, if I could put it into just 2 words. In the way that manifested for us was I had a full circle experience in my life. I spent from the age of 18 until about 28, I was a stand-up comedian. That was my life. I lived on the road, and I toured, and I played in clubs, and that's how I made a living. And I started to grow up a little bit and went, hey, this, when I was 22, this was like the crime of the century. They were paying me to drive to these gigs, and they were giving me free booze, and what more could a man want? And then I started thinking, well, I might actually live past 30. Maybe I'd want a life someday. So I decided to get off the road. I was fortunate to marry the woman who I knew I was meant to marry. We ended up back here in Florida. Spent another 10, discovered copywriting like a miracle, second coming in my life to find this second thing I could be passionate about. Did that for 10 years, but had left the comedy behind. I was former stand-up comedian. Well, then last August, Stu, a good friend of mine, August of 2016, my friend Billy Gardell, who was a guy I started in comedy with, he went on to be the star of a show called Mike and Molly, very successful sitcom. And he casually says to me, because he never left stand-up, he says, hey man, I'm doing a show in St. Pete at the Mahaffey Theater, 2,000 people. Why don't you open the show? Yeah, okay, yeah, why not, right? What is that, a Friday? Sure, I got nothing better to do. I haven't done this in 10 years, right? So I decided to do it, and I went on this mission to become a comedian again, right? And I did it, and I documented it, and it went great. But the real gift came after the show, because that was in January. So this entire year, Stu, it was like this part of me that I didn't realize was sort of lying dormant, right? Came alive. And suddenly I was complete again, right? Like I just felt better. I had more energy. My writing got better instantly. My communication was better. And I was able to make impact. And I started to get replies from people that indicated that I was making an impact, right? Stu, I know that you're a master storyteller, and you have some amazing techniques for how you tell story in your emails. And you're probably like me, one of the greatest measures to me of whether an email communication was successful or not isn't in the stats. The only stat I really look for is, did they hit reply and type back to you, right?
Totally.
Because that's a lot of engagement. That means like, you just said something, I gotta tell you what, and wow, that's that communication, that dialogue you were talking about with your audience. And once you have that, there's nothing you can't do. Like really, that is the indication that you've struck a nerve that can take you and your company anywhere.
Well, you know what was fascinating too, Kev, because I'm a huge fan of yours. I was following along and watching your journey as you were getting back into stand-up comedy. And I think the thing that was so appealing about that, and I'd love for you to speak to this, but it was very vulnerable for you to share this, because it was like you shared well in advance of what you were doing as you were building up. And, you know, let's just call a spade a spade. You could have fallen flat on your face in front of all those people, and the story could have come to an ending that wouldn't have been the happy one. But
I know, man.
But I think the greatness about that was that you were willing to go there. And this is kind of probably that emotional thing that you're talking about, but you were very vulnerable in that. And I think that was really appealing. And I remember like myself, when I saw your videos and your posts, and I was just like, man, I was like cheering you on. I was just like, yeah, like I I got so much strength and inspiration from seeing you do that. And I'd love to hear about your willingness to go there on the vulnerability side.
Yeah, I don't, honest, to be really frank, it didn't hit me until after the show how crazy that was. A comic who I didn't even know that well, who was at the show, came up to me and he goes, wow, man, he goes, that took a lot of guts to announce this. He goes, that could have ended really bad. and just something about him saying that casually, I was like, wow, it really could have, like it's something about, you get so caught up with, because for me it was emotional, right? And it was like, I was suddenly so sure that I needed to do this. And to be honest with you, I wasn't going to tell anybody, but I started telling some friends privately. My friend Paris Lampropoulos, right? I told him casually about this, and he says to me, when is that date? And what I realized, he's going to buy a ticket. And then so my friends started, we're flying in, we're going to be there. I had like 20, 30 people, Stu, fly in, friends from the industry, come and support. That blew me away. So when I started to see that, I was like, wow, this is inspiring people. This isn't about me. I'm doing this thing. But what I started hearing from people was, you talking about this and doing this made me pick up the guitar again. I haven't played in 15 years, and suddenly I'm playing every day again, and it's like I feel great. And a friend of mine said, "You've encouraged me to. I always wanted to do a comic strip about comedy, about copywriting, and I set a deadline for myself. I'm going to put out my first comic strip. These things I never knew about people, right? And so the message really became, Stu, all of you, all the time, right? In marketing, we can't just be knowledge. So my big tactic, the theme of my tactic for 2017 was that knowledge content alone will cause you to get ignored. Okay. If they don't feel it, they're going to forget it, and they're going to forget you. Right. But it has to be balanced. Yes. Sometimes we just want pure tactic, pure content. But if you think about it, all of us have a hard drive full of stuff that we know we should engage with because it'll probably help our business or our mindset or something, and we haven't gotten to it. We got this pile of stuff, right? But think about the last time you encountered a piece of content that made you feel something, right? Really made you laugh out loud, made you cry, made you think, got you angry. What's the first thing you probably did right after you had that emotion? You shared it. You shared it with other people. You probably subscribed, get me more of this. I want to learn more about this. And so that's the difference. Now, as a caveat, you can't be all emotion all the time. I see some people on Facebook and like every day's a new drama, and I'm like, hey man, like where are we headed here? This feels a little chaotic. I don't know who's driving this bus, And so it's got to be balanced. But if you think about what are people going to remember about you, right? Stu, you do an amazing job of this with the charity work you do and the fact that you adopted you and your wife. Everybody that knows you knows these stories, and they feel close to you because you've been vulnerable and sharing those experiences. They haven't all been easy, right? I remember you opening your notepad to me when we were having a conversation in Austin and starting to cry, reading your notes from that day. Yeah. That's not something you've written about, but that's something you knew to document because it's important. Yeah, so that's a part of you.
It's so true, to kind of speak to that, what happened recently, Kevin, I haven't shared this with you, but I recently, when I was at actually Jeff Walker's LaunchCon event in Dallas, I lost my phone. As soon as I got out of the taxi, I realized that I didn't have my phone, and because I'm from Canada and this event was in Dallas, I had it on airplane mode, so I couldn't do the whole find my phone thing, so I lost it. And I wasn't too concerned about losing it, whatever, I can buy another one. But the thing that I really felt was I wasn't sure if those notes that you're speaking about, which is where I documented our whole experience when we, were adopting our son and when we were in South Africa. And well, you saw just how emotional that was for me when I was just reading it to you. I wasn't sure if I had those notes. And I knew I had the pictures, but I wasn't sure if I had the notes. Well, long story short, I just recently, upgraded our phone, and I got a new one, and I did a backup, and that was the first thing that I checked. And it was an emotional moment for me, because those are so, it's treasured moments. And what I realized, and I said to my wife, and I'm going to bring it full circle to what we're talking about, is that I think we don't document this stuff enough. We don't document like what we're thinking, what we're feeling. And as you said, and I wrote this down, I think it's brilliant. If they don't feel it, they're going to forget you. And I think that that's where the beauty of storytelling, that's the beauty of marketing. To me, this is like matching, the logic and the emotion and bringing it all together for people. And that's what has the real impact.
Absolutely. And to just to put some numbers to it, so it meets the criteria of a tactic. The way this really infused our marketing was when I went to do, because I had sort of laid down the gauntlet for myself and said, hey, guess I'm funny again. I'm not a clown kind of guy, but I've set an expectation. So when it was time to promote my first live event, I said, there's got to be some funny in the video. And we were able to pull it off. Fortunately, I had a great director, producer who helped me a lot. And Stu, this video, because people laughed at it, right? They genuinely, it was unexpected. They really laughed. 40 shares, 11,000 views just on my personal page, without any, that's not with any Facebook ad or anything, right? Totally organic. And that's when I saw the impact of people saying, this is amazing, sold out the event first, and so that was the actual tangible result. And again, it's not about, I'm not saying go out and be funny. I'm saying whatever you're holding, whatever part of you might be holding back, or whatever other skill you have that you think might not be relevant to what you're known for, I challenge you to bring that full circle, be all of you all the time, and just watch the impact. It's amazing.
Awesome, dude. Well, that's phenomenal. And I wrote down a couple things. All of you, all the time is one of them. So thank you for sharing that. And hopefully that's encouraging, inspiring to everybody listening. Now, I want to shift gears, and I want to ask you about looking forward. What are some of the things and the big opportunities, that you're most looking forward to going into the new year?
Yeah, for me, it's video. It's short video, right? What I want to really pay attention to this year is, what is the minimum viable engagement that we can have, and then just win somebody's attention enough to have them want to continue the conversation someplace else. So I think of it like if you're in a crowded bar or a cocktail party or a holiday party or something, and you're meeting a lot of people. What's the it's that moment where you bond on something personal, or there's some moment where you go, you tell your wife on the way home, driving home or whatever, and you're going, I got to talk to that person again. There was something there. Right? It kind of sticks with you. Yeah. Those are the moments we need to create, and you can do it in like 6 seconds. You think it's the Vine culture, Stu, has come full circle. Fox Sports this year is experimenting in their NFL games. That's a game we play here in the United States with an oval kind of ball. I don't think it's made it to Canada yet. I'm just kidding. But,
this is where I would suggest, Kevin, you still got to work on your comedy, because that just wasn't funny for us.
They're doing 6-second ads during NFL games. A 6-second ad, and you think, what can you do in 6 seconds, right? If you're Budweiser, well, you can go, Budweiser, have more beer. Look how tasty it looks. That's fine. But we're not closing the deal. We need to have a conversation with our products. But you can make an impact in 6 seconds, just like Vine videos do in these other. So for me, that's what's fascinating is what can you do in like 6 to 10 seconds that's going to get people to sit up and go, I need more of that. That's interesting.
That's awesome. Well, it's a great challenge. And I love the way that you're thinking about it too, in terms of like, it's not just video, but it's video wrapped around a different format or a different style or a different approach. And I think that limitation is going to spark some creativity, which is fun, because it's like, we don't have a lot of time with people these days, but how can we grab them in that short period of time? It's an awesome approach.
Yeah. 6 seconds will win you 6 more. that 6 can win you 10 more, and then now you have a minute. And in 60 seconds, it's amazing what you can do. As you know, Stu, you're great at that.
Buddy, I love the way you just framed that, though. Like, the 6 seconds is not the only thing that you're doing.
Right.
The 6 is leading to the next 6, to the 10, to the minute. I love that approach. Awesome, buddy. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for joining us. As we wind down here, any final thoughts for everybody?
Yeah, no, just be yourself. Be all of yourself all the time. And I just want to, can I add to the bonus role here?
Buddy, listen, I will welcome that any day and all day.
Again, because this is extra special to me. I want to help everybody we can. Easy thing, happy to do, give away the book, The 60-Second Sales Hook, which is about winning those 1-minute engagement conversations. You know, if you want to pick, 5 people, I'll happily send them this book.
Amazing.
I will also, I'd love to give somebody a 6-month subscription to Copy Chief, our community, where we help people. You can get unlimited copy critiques. We've got over 20 trainings with a lot of our great friends like Ryan Levesque, like Todd Brown, all these great marketers sharing their best stuff. So if you need any kind of help with your copy or want to learn some new tactics and frameworks, spend 6 months in there, full access. We'll critique your copy. We'll really help you out. So happy to contribute that. Dude,
that's amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. Can't wait to give that away later on tonight. And buddy, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. I'm looking over. I'm looking for the sales update. I think our team will tell me. Have we cracked? Have we cracked?
We break 20?
Yeah, have we cracked 20? That's let me see here. We're getting there. It's coming, it's refreshing, and oh, we're so close. We are so close, Kevin.
Dude, I hated only giving 20. I bought our product here, but I wish there was another donate button. There's not a separate
you know what? We've had a number of people ask that if there's a way to donate more. That's a great question. You know what? We'll definitely post that.
Circle back on that and see. Yeah,
definitely. Okay. Listen, Kevin, you're amazing. Thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate you.
My pleasure, brother. Thanks.
Have a good night. Woo, baby. Kevy is amazing, isn't he? I mean, there was a couple writer-downers there for me. The first one that I took away was all of you, all the time. And I just love how he wrapped that around with his story about, becoming, going back to stand-up comedy, sharing a vulnerable story about that. And it was awesome. So, and then obviously his quote, if they don't feel it, they're going to forget you. And I think there's so much truth that I know for me, I definitely love to blend both the emotion and the logic when it comes to the marketing, because I think that's the real art and the science of marketing effectively. So great stuff from Kevin, and we got some more giveaways, so we'll get to those here in a little bit. Now, we're going to get to our next guest right away, right off the bat, and that is the legendary Rachel Miller. I think the team is going to let me know if we got her queued in. Yes.
I'm here.
Rachel,
yeah.
How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm just wowed to be here, Stu. So thank you so much for including me with all my business idols.
Well, listen, you have become one of my little business idols, little miss. I want to give everybody the Stu intro on Rachel Miller, but here's how I first came into connection with Rachel. So Rachel and I first came in touch because she joined one of our programs. And one of the things that I realized really quickly was because some of the questions that she was asking, she was trying to get clear on which direction she should go and with her particular business. And so I started digging, finding out more about Rachel. Lo and behold, I find she is this ninja when it comes to building Facebook pages. And we're not talking building them in terms of getting a little bit of growth. We're talking Rachel Miller has been growing Facebook pages to millions of people and then selling them. That was her business. And I was just like, girl, how are you building these Facebook pages? And she's just like, oh, I just do this, I just do that, blah, blah. I'm like, this is where you need to focus. And
and it was funny because I was going to try to make meal plans, and I don't cook. And I did make a meal plan, and I never sold it because I don't cook. So it was really fun for Stu to tell me where my gift is and where my passion is, and that's obviously in loving on people. So
yes, well, and
yeah.
there's just so much to love about you, Rachel, and you've helped now, so many people in this past year. Your business has absolutely exploded, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about like what for you has been the big number one strategy over the last 12 months that has really helped your business grow.
My word for 2017 has been community. Because if you can build a community of people who you love and who you seek to serve, then what you do is you ask them what they want and then you sell it to them. And it's not really selling because you're doing them a service. Does that make sense? They're coming to you for that product. So I started with a Facebook group, and that's the easiest way right now to build a massive and passionate community. And I looked at my stats last year in October. I had 100 people in my Facebook group. And then in January, when I launched my course, it was like 1,300, and today it's 18,000.
Wow.
And and we've actually deleted about 4,000 from that number because there's spam people that come in. So, and we call the list. But anyways, about 18,000 engaged right now in that community. And so that's my major takeaway. We've made insane amounts of money because we loved on an audience. So that would be my 2017 takeaway.
Well, amazing. And I want to kind of dig a little bit here before I let you off the hook on this one, because I know a lot of people watching and listening are wanting the follow-up question, which is, well, okay, so how did you grow this group? Like, you talked about having it, and you talked about going from 100 to 1,300 to now 18,000. So what was the difference? How did you attract people? How did you grow that Facebook group?
The first 100 people, I literally just asked them if they wanted to come and hang out with me. And I didn't say I was selling anything. I said, look, I'm just going to come and talk about stuff here. Why don't you come and we can all like talk about it together. It's going to be really small. There's only going to be like 15 of us. And then there were 100 of us. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I asked the 100 people if they'd even buy something that's in this related niche from me. And I sold somebody else's product. And this was just to see if these 100 people trusted me enough to pull out their credit cards. So I did kind of like a pre-beta beta. Like, do they even trust me enough to like take action on anything I'm going to say? So after they did, they bought Dan Morris's something course, because Dan was a friend of mine that had a $30 course. So I was like, great, like if they can pull out their credit cards for this, then they're buyers. And so after that, like 2 weeks later, you told me, it's time, Rachel, like for crying out loud, it's time, Rachel. I think I was like the last person in that group of people to launch their course out of the people in Tribe that time. And so anyway, so I started, that was October 25th. And then October 31st, we opened the beta to that 100 people and 47 said yes. So this is where my strategy actually began. And that's where I drew a diagram. I'm a diagram girl. So sorry guys, you guys all get to just deal with it. So I took my Facebook page. Is this right side or back side?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I took my page and I would share from my page into the Facebook group. And so I would share videos, I'd share content. And then from the group, I'd also share back to the videos. There's the videos. And the videos would be hosted on my page. So the group would be commenting on the videos. So I was able to capture all of those video people. And from there, then we'd send them to the opt-ins. And the opt-ins thank you page sent them back to the group. So I liked to circle my people in and out of my sphere of influence. So Stu talks about the circle of awesomeness and how you're going to get them from awareness to desire to, oh my word, they're dying fans. Well, I was testing it and it seems like they need to like talk to me 7 times in order to kind of get into that awareness zone where they're actually going to remember that who I am and see me and like remember me. So what is the fastest way to get 7 interactions with them? At the time, I didn't know about messenger bots, but messenger bots are very fast to get 7 back and forths, right? But before that, what was the next fastest way? Groups. So I could cycle people quickly. And so my goal with the groups was just to give as much value as I possibly could, but to keep it as messy as I possibly could. So I made it free, but really, really messy. That way people came to me for the organization and the clarity and how to structure it. So that's where you were the genius, because you were like, they're coming to you for the fast plan. And so I actually called my 0 to 100,000 fans the fast track plan, because they're coming for that step-by-step to cut out all the buzz And the buzz in the group was just to prove to them that I know my shit. You know?
Yeah. Well, here's what I love. I love that you were talking about cycling it through. And so it never just stopped at any one point. You were always cycling people back through. So it's from the page to the group, to the group, to the video, to the videos, to the opt-ins, back to the group. And there's like this constant cycle. Constant
and even
cycle.
After they buy, I still do that after they buy. And I think a lot of people, after someone buys, kind of like drops them off their list a little bit. But I still cycle them back into the free group, all the resources, because they're now my sellers. So they bring their pals into it and they almost sell the course for me. So really, this was my note for like what I was going to say this hour, which was, if you love people, you serve people, and you celebrate people in your Facebook group, they then will sell and celebrate you. So that's what I gained from my Facebook group. And that was such a huge gift. If 2017, the one thing I really took away from it was community. And if you can love and serve those people, they will love and serve you back in an amazing way.
I'm writing this down, Rachel. I love that. Mac, perfect. Listen, girl. Okay, amazing. So we talked about your big strategy for 2017, which is community, and we talked about how you did that with, your Facebook group and cycling content from your page to your group to videos to your opt-in page, and cycling everybody everywhere, which is awesome. And so let's talk about now going into 2018. There's a lot of things that have happened on Facebook, and I know that you're front and center in the midst of all of that because this is your area of specialty. So talk to me about what are you looking at going into 2018 that you're paying particular attention to, and what should we pay attention to?
I think with 2018, what I'm seeing now, mind you, okay, as I'm saying this, guys, I'm the girl who's made millions of people in fan bases and millions of people in reach in Facebook pages. That said, as I'm looking at the future, I'm realizing you don't need a big audience to make a big impact. And so I'm seeing these small little audiences have such a big oomph and such a big care for their communities. Because they're personalizing, they're segmenting their content to exactly who wants it, exactly who needs it. So instead of being kind of the catch-all, seeing that niche, the power of niching down to exactly who your diehard fans are is just huge. I mean, we had one person raise money for a school bus, and then after he raised the money, he got flowers. I've never gotten flowers delivered to my house from my Facebook fans, and this guy didn't get one; he had 2 flower pots. A guy, 2 flower pots. So these are fans who he's niched down and gotten them to truly, truly love him, and it's just beautiful. So yeah, my 2018 is personalization, because if you can personalize your message on Facebook, you can personalize your emails, you can personalize even the video content that you're delivering. So you're speaking to them exactly. Personalize it because it's video and they see you, and so they feel that connection with you. And then you can talk to them, like in lives, you talk back to them. So that's personalization. You're getting to involve them into it. And messenger chat, and how you can use flows now in messenger chat to further personalize your delivery of your content to your readers.
So that's what I was going to ask you. So how are you looking to personalize that content? You gave a couple ideas there, like one through Facebook Lives and interacting with people, talking to people, mentioning people who are interacting with you. You talked about using messenger bots and taking that further and creating campaigns and sequences much that are catered based on what they're doing and how they're behaving. Is there any other things that you're going to be exploring?
I love custom audiences and segmenting your audiences on Facebook, and then driving specific traffic to those audiences that you've segmented. So I can segment my people and say, here's the people who I know have engaged with this type of content. So here's the thing, they've engaged with it once, they probably want to engage with it a second time. So a lot of people, when they've engaged with one piece of content, they might want the replay a second time. They might want to re-engage with that same piece of content. And then if they've re-engaged with it twice, that means that they really loved what they were listening to, because they didn't just listen to that live video once. They went back to it and listened to it. So you can get them, if you can get those people who are engaging over and over again on your content. And then we're doing that with our emails. We're starting to, where we're sending our emails to our hot people first, and then we're segmenting it and sending it to the cold next. That's one of the tricks I think I got from the mastermind with you. One of the people in the mastermind had that idea, and it works really, really well. We are segmenting with separating our audience, because I help bloggers, course creators, and like Amazon sellers or stores. And so segmenting those so they hear their message and they're not distracted by the blogger content when they're a store, because they don't get that, you know, and the bloggers don't get the stores. So, you know, you segment them in that way. It's just, there's so much power in that.
Buddy, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Stu. I mean, the course you've given me has been mind-blowing. Well,
listen, I'm super grateful that you joined us. And where, by the way, I forgot to ask everybody else, but I'm remembering it now. Where can people find out more information about you, and where can they follow up with you?
Moolah.life is my website. And then you can find me on in my Facebook group, which is Facebook Page Strategies.
Awesome. All right, Rachel. Well, listen, buddy, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your insights. I love it. Number one, the big takeaway this year for you was community, and you talked about how you built that with your Facebook groups. And number two, going into 2018, the personalization, and you gave us some strategies and ideas of how you're going to pursue that as well. So, buddy, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Listen, gang, we are rocking and rolling, and I have some good news for everybody. We have crossed the $20,000 mark. Give yourselves a high five, everybody. Woohoo! So thank you so much to everybody for all of you who have upgraded. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because, again, 100% of what is being raised tonight is going directly to helping people in Florida who are still dealing with the aftermath of the hurricane. So I'm super grateful for that. And we've got some goodies to give away to everybody. Kevin Rogers has offered up some copies of his book and a 6-month membership to Copy Chief. So we'll be giving that away a little bit later today as well. All right. I want to jump to our next guest coming up here in just a few minutes because, ladies and gentlemen, it is the sexy and handsome Mr. James Wedmore. And so are we good to go on James? I got the thumbs up. Mr. Wedmore, thank you for joining us. How the heck are you, buddy?
Wow. How are you, man?
Listen, speaking of sexy, listen to that voice, to that great microphone. Hello.
Hello, lady.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, listen, I want to give the Stu intro to you because, one of the things that I want everybody to know is that James is the founder of an incredible course called Business by Design. And basically what James's gift is breaking things down into a process, and more specifically, being able to help you use those processes to build a business that you love. And, we just got back from your event in Laguna Beach, California, which was amazing. So many hundreds and hundreds of great entrepreneurs there with that. You've had an incredible year, buddy. This year, your business has just continued to grow. And so I'm excited to dive in and talk to you about it. But before I do, how the heck are you?
I'm really good, man. I'm happy. I think that's important as we build our business. We don't lose sight of that. And I'm happy that you came out from all the way on from the Great White North to hang out where it's 70 degrees and sunny all year long, which is probably hard for you to realize. But it's great having you there. That meant a lot. So. Good.
Well, I'm sensing some sarcasm. Shelly, being a fellow Canadian over here, she looked at me like, yeah, he's rubbing that one in. Okay, so. All right, buddy. Well, listen, you've had an incredible year. Your business has continued to grow, and that's one of the things I was saying at the top of the call that why I wanted to have you on here is for you, you're one of those people where your business just continues to grow year after year after year. It's not an up and down. It's a steady, continued growth. And so the same thing is true this year. I know your business has grown, and I want to talk to you about that. Like, so what in this year, over the last 12 months, what has been the most effective strategy that has helped you in that growth?
Yeah. Well, besides following you and doing what you say, which, by the way, I have to say, I love the studio. This is awesome.
Yeah,
you know what I love the most? I love the fern behind you.
Yes. Ryan Levesque actually commented on that earlier tonight.
I got one too that I was hoping I could.
Yeah.
That's strategy number one, is be like Stu.
Well, so Ryan was teasing me earlier. He's like, "Hey Stu, I just want to comment on your fern. He called it our fake fern. He's like, because he had real ferns in the back. I said, no, dude, that's real. We just have all the dead ones, off camera, so people can't see those ones.
That's the only one that's still alive.
Yeah. So I'm glad we've gotten 2 comments so far on our ferns, but
But look, dude, I'm just like you, man. I want to do what Stu's doing.
Okay, moving on. Tell it.
Cut this out in the recording.
Yeah, exactly. So so get to the heart of it here, buddy. Get to the meat. Enough about the ferns.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna give 2 answers. I'm gonna give the answer Stu wants to give, and then I'm gonna give the real answer. I look at everything through 2 lenses. There's what I would call the external. This is the strategy. This is the action taking. This is the plan. This is the work. And then there's something that has become deeply more important to me, and that is the internal stuff. And there's a phrase I learned from a mentor of mine long ago, that as within, so without. So I always believe that what's going on within us, how we feel, and the thoughts that we have will always come to fruition or manifest externally, and that shows up a lot in our business. So if you're having an experience of seeing me continue to grow, it's because internally I'm consistently moving into where I feel more aligned with what makes me happy, what keeps me happy. It doesn't make me happy, it perpetuates happiness. It makes me feel fulfilled and come alive. It's my zone of genius, and I think we all have our zone of genius. So many people are out there, and you and I have talked about this, where they look at what someone else is doing and they go, oh, they're successful, I'll just copy what they do. And you're hurting yourself more than you could ever hurt them by just being a copycat, because you're not aligning yourself with your true gifts, your true talents, and your true message. And so that's what I'm doing, because I've been known to many for years as the video guy. And I love video, but there's a difference between that zone of excellence versus that zone of genius. And I moved from that to work doing some deeper strategy, higher level stuff, solving some bigger problems for entrepreneurs and business owners. And that's why it's taking off, because that's where I found, wow, more of my gifts lie, more of the things that come easier to me. So internally, that's what I've been doing. That people don't really see that, right? That's the internal stuff. Externally, I've got so many cool marketing strategies and things that Stu's really looking for that we've been doing this year.
Hang on.
Okay.
Before we get to that, I don't mind camping out on the internal stuff, because I think
sorry, it's in my way. It's tickling my back.
Because you proactively work on yourself just as much as you work on your business, and I think that's the takeaway for everybody here, is that the biggest impact you can have on your business is to also work on yourself, and I think that's what you're saying. Am I right?
It is, absolutely, yeah. Why are you doing things because someone else does it because it works for them? Why not find out and discover what works for you, what makes you happy, what or perpetuates happiness or gets you in that zone of genius? I'm constantly looking at that, and the thing is that changes. I mean, look at your evolution. I've seen some of your old stuff when you had your face on a DVD. Idea incubator. I don't forget these things, Stu. I know where you come from.
Oh boy. Oh, that's just the problem, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you regretting having me on?
When you've got good friends on your call, they can turn it around.
I'm sorry.
No, but I love what you're saying about working on yourself. I want to just ask you a couple quick practical questions on that. What kinds of things have you done this year to have that introspection, to have that inner work, as you said, when it comes to the inner stuff?
So there's 2 or 3 things that come to mind immediately. The first thing is that most people have a belief that when they are going to go set out and build a business, they think that more money, more success, more recognition will make them happy, right? You hear that all the time. When I have this much money, when I make this much money, then finally, yes, I'll be happy. And it's the opposite. We have it backwards. It's not money makes us happy or gives us a happy life. It's a happy life makes us money. And when we can start to reverse that, be detached from that and just be happy now, I believe we step into so many more possibilities. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I'm constantly looking at, and I learned that from Tony Robbins, he's turn frustration into fascination. And like, that sounds cool. You use 2 F's in a sentence. That's an alliteration. But what does that actually mean? And it's when you get upset, when something ticks you off, angers you, frustrates you, scares you, instead of running away from it, just get really curious and like dig into that. Why is what this person said, you know, so how many times do you see someone who puts something on Facebook and then that upsets you? They're just going blah, blah, blah and putting a bunch of symbols and words together on a digital computer. And now you're all in a tizzy and it's affecting the rest of your day. It probably, you know, spills out into your relationship with your spouse and maybe your kids. And why, you know, and I've really learned to look at those things. And a big takeaway I have for me is just a distinction between when something happens and then the meaning or interpretation we put on that. And what you find out is it's not that person or that comment or the person who cuts you off that's triggering you, but it's the interpretation that you have when that happens. You know, so great example, someone cuts you off in traffic, get all angry and upset. Well, why are you upset? Oh, because he almost, you know, killed me or hurt me or caused an accident. What if you find out that that person is, you know, pregnant, about to give birth, and they're rushing to a hospital, or someone's, you know, they just found out there's an emergency and they need to get to where they need to go. Like, oh yeah, you know, a little bit more compassion, understanding, a little bit more separation between this person's upsetting me and my thing and my happiness. And I'm learning to look at that a lot more.
Well, can I tell you, I want to share a little bit of an embarrassing story that just recently happened that directly relates to this. In fact, tomorrow on our podcast, the Marketing Your Business podcast, I actually share the full story of this. But literally like a week ago, you know, somebody posted about this very broadcast, you know, the Marketing Forecast Live. And they said that they were looking forward to seeing Ryan Levesque, and they were, you know, they enjoyed Ryan's work. So long story short, when we originally had the page, we had an older picture of Ryan. And I knew actually, as soon as I saw it, that was the picture that the team had chosen to use. I knew right away that Ryan was sensitive to that picture because it was right after he himself had just gotten out of the hospital. So he's like 50 pounds lighter than he was. And so I right away mentioned to the team, I'm like, hey guys, let's swap that picture out. And so they were on it. But in the metadata, you know, so like when somebody posts the link, it was still pulling in the old picture. And so when they posted it on Facebook, Ryan saw the old picture and he makes a comment like, oh, come on, like seriously, like that picture, you know, it's like, please, like, let's swap it out for something else. And so I wrote back right away. I'm like, hey dude, no worries. Like our team's already on it. We're swapping that out. And I said, we were thinking of using this picture. And I posted this other one and it was just like, it was not a glamorous picture of Ryan whatsoever. And I thought, you know, I'm being the smart ass Stu, you know, like, you know, we're all good buddies. And so I'm joking around. And then he writes back, he's like, Stu, you don't know this, but here's the backstory on that. He's like, that picture was taken after I was up for 48 hours straight because my second son was helicoptered to a medevac hospital because he wasn't breathing when he was born. And I was just like, okay.
Jerk.
I am, that's exactly what I said. I wrote back right away. I'm just like, dude, I had no idea. I deserve the jerk of the day. And like, I just felt awful because like, it was exactly what you were talking about. Like, you know, I wasn't thinking, I didn't know there was a story behind it. Like, and he wrote back to me privately. He's just like, dude, you would never have known. He's like, I just, you know, wanted to give you context, you know.
And it's great context. And then the like piece I would add on top of that is like, you know, you're also kind of being a jerk to yourself, right? Like, who says we're not allowed to make mistakes? Like, it was a mistake, and you're human. And I think that's the thing that's missing a lot with entrepreneurs is they're so driven, they're so hardworking, they're so determined, and you create these rules where you're not allowed to make mistakes. That everything has to be perfect, and if you do mess up, you're wrong, you're broken, you know, blah blah blah. And it's like we all make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes, and it's unavoidable. And you made a mistake, but there's an opportunity to just like forgive ourselves and move on.
Yeah. Well, and he was super graceful. I mean, like, you know, I'm pinging him on like Facebook and text and I'm just like, dude, I'm so sorry, I'm an idiot, you know. And he's like, dude, it's not a big deal. But
he's a lot nicer than me. I would have shunned you.
Well, I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. All right, so you've done a lot of inner work. Talk about the external stuff that you wanted to mention here. So like, what were some of those strategies?
I had a hard time when you kind of prepped me this question because there's so many answers I want to give. So it all goes under this umbrella of do different. You know, what is Apple's tagline, right? Think different. And so we're constantly looking at an industry that I think what's plaguing the industry is like people make a copy of a copy of a copy. And you know what happens when you do that in a copy machine? It gets, you know, worse and worse and worse and worse. And so we're constantly looking at how do we look at the principles, the foundational truth, the unwavering truths of what works in marketing, and then go completely different. We want to see where is everybody else going, where are they zigging, and we want to zag. And so what we've noticed a lot was a huge conversation around automation, right? And everyone wants to automate everything. So yeah, I've done a lot of automation. I love automation, but at what cost is that impacting your clients and customers when everything is automated, right? That personal touch starts to go. And so we wanted to lean into the opposite, and we wanted to do more personalization, more of that human to human real interaction. And I have a ton of examples of it, and I can give you a very simple, easy one, and then I can give you one that's like a more advanced high-end thing that we did. So we did a webinar recently, and instead of doing like an automated webinar or like here's the 7-step secret blah blah blah, we had zero content. They hopped onto the call and we did live, we unmuted people live and did hot seat coaching sessions with individual members. And I framed it around the whole thing of saying, listen, there's hundreds of people on this call. There's no way you're all going to get a hot seat. That's impossible. But I promise I'll make it relevant for everyone, because the more specific examples I have for this individual that I'm coaching, the more relatable it's going to be to you. I promise, because we all have very similar businesses, even if we're in different niches. So one of the things that we did is we did that. It was different and it was customized and unique. Mm-hmm. But then what we did is, in order to get on a hot seat, they had to fill out a form, like almost like a little mini application as to what their hot seat is, why they think they should get a hot seat, blah, blah, blah. You know what I did afterwards? I followed up individually with every single person who applied for the hot seat. Every single person. There was about 100 people that wanted to be in a hot seat. Only 5 or 6 got to be on a hot seat for each webinar. And I personally wrote every single person, and I said, hey, you know, I'm sorry we didn't get to your hot seat live. I see your problem. I totally understand it. And we had a conversation. And a lot of them ended up joining my program just from having that conversation, instead of just like an automated response like, sorry, this is a robot and blah, blah, blah. So that's a great example. And it's just through the conversation of like, how can we create something unique or different? That is custom and is more human to human interaction. Here's another example that I'll throw at you, and I definitely, absolutely, 100%, unequivocally want to give you and everyone, you know, however you distribute this, the copy, the swipe files and stuff that we did along with this. We run a high-level mastermind, just like Stu, and we are really proud that this year we had twice the amount of people apply than we even have spots for. So we have to have the challenge of turning down a lot of really qualified individuals. It's application only process, and it's a lot of money. But the best part is we didn't launch it. There's no launch. There was zero promotion. Instead, we hand mailed, physical, like old-fashioned direct mailed physical packages in the mail, inviting our people that we had an eye on to apply. And this is part of it. Now this is where it's going to get really cool. So you can see this, okay, right?
Yep.
So this is this fancy, that's our logo embossed on the front. Now when you open it up, there is a video that plays, and it goes into a special, unique message like, Stu, you're amazing, and come join our program. Then that's filled with, like, you know, there's a physical mailer pamphlet with all the information and how to apply and stuff like that. But then I wrote a unique individual letter to every applicant based on my relationship with that person. Stu, we've been friends for years. I've seen all the amazing things you've done. I love, your ferns and how you treat your houseplants. And although some of them are dying, I think I could really help with that. Come join my indoor gardening mastermind. You can apply here, and maybe we'll let you in. But that, see, he's laughing because it's like, oh, he's got me, right? But that's what we're doing. Now here's the funny thing. It's not funny. This is just what happened. We mailed that to 20 people. 16 people immediately filled that application and returned it back to us.
Wow. And
these are $30,000 clients. So, oh, that's too much work. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not too much work. This definitely was worth every single ounce of energy that my team and I put into it. And we were so proud of it. And every single person was like, holy cow, no one has ever done this.
Totally.
This is unbelievable. This is amazing. And there's a freaking video that plays in there. So we're looking to customize and deliver unique things that no one else is doing so that people feel special, because they are special.
Well, and I think what I love about this too, James, is that you're not talking about, sending tens of thousands of these. You're not even talking about sending thousands of these. You're talking about like a handful of these, but these, in your case, these are your best and most ideal customers. And so what I love about it is that you're not being reactive, you're being proactive in identifying the customers that you want, and then finding a customized and personalized way to go and bring them into your world. I think it's awesome. And I know that this is one of many ways that you have done this personalized strategy this year.
In a lot of ways, I want to interrupt you again, because in a lot of ways, I've learned this from you without you even realizing it. One thing that you do so well is you just believe in your students, and that is so important. The people that are the authorities and leaders, a lot of them are just like huge self-starters, they're go-getters, and a lot of the students that we attract aren't. And they need someone to believe in them. And when you can do that, that is unbelievable to be like, Stu, I've been watching you from afar, and I see, and as long as you're being authentic, I'm not saying like lie and BS, but like I've been watching you, and man, I see great things. I see your potential, and I really want to help you. Here's how I'd love to support you next year. Like, there's no magic. I'm a horrible copywriter. Like, I'm just speaking that, and that resonates with some people. So,
well,
yeah.
Dude, I want to give you huge credit for what you've done this year, and I'm going to thank you in advance, because for everybody who has upgraded to the upgrade package, again, $27 gets you the replays, the recordings, the transcripts, the summaries, and all these extra bonuses. Ryan's already shared a bunch. James is going to be sharing some here with his swipe files of some of the ways that he has personalized this and used this personalization strategy in his marketing this year. So, dude, thank you so much for that. Now, shifting gears.
Yep.
Going into 2018.
Yep.
What big opportunities are you most excited about as we head into the next 12 months?
Okay, this is the big opportunity that I'm excited about. We are looking for ways to transcend content and information. Every once in a while, you get some email of like, oh my gosh, some guy's selling your course for $10 on a website, and people freak out, right? And it sucks, and you got to send your like, whatever those DMCA, letters, and you gotta kind of have your hammer to knock that down. But at the end of the day, I'm not concerned, because the value that we're delivering in the transaction that takes place between me and my customers is much less about the content and much more about the context, the experience that is created. There was something I heard a long time ago that something along the lines of, it's all made up statistics anyways, but like 90% of success comes down to environment. And I've really pondered that. It was about 2 years ago. I remember where I was. It was actually, yeah, it was 2 years ago. I was in Mammoth for Thanksgiving, and we were driving home from Mammoth, and I heard, you know, on some podcast I was listening to, and I really pondered that. Later, I heard this study by a woman in the late 1970s. Her name is Ellen Langer, where she took a group of individuals, men and women in their late 70s, and put them into this like compound that was reflective completely of the year 1959 when they were 20 years younger. The music, the wallpaper, the furniture, the clothes, everything was meant to feel, look, smell, touch, and taste like 20 years younger. And in 7 days, she saw the most remarkable difference, that these men and women felt younger, they looked younger, they measured their IQs. Their IQs actually went up. They became more flexible. They were, you know, playing games and playing football out on the front lawn. It was unbelievable how our environment can affect who we are and what we see as possible for ourselves. So we're constantly looking at how can we create an experience for and an environment for our customers to thrive. And there's a quote I share all the time. It says, when a flower doesn't bloom, you don't blame the flower. You blame the environment in which it grows. And we look at every single client and customer as a flower, a beautiful flower. I know it sounds silly. I know you want to laugh too, but we do. And it's because a flower's natural tendency is to bloom. And it's our job as the course creator, as the teacher, as the coach, to simply create an environment for them to thrive, to bloom. And that's constantly what we're looking for. And that transcends content. What can they do what can we deliver from an environment, from a coaching, a community, an accountability standpoint, so that they get value that cannot be Googled? That's what people say. I could just Google this information. Yeah? How's that working for you? Right? So that's what we're excited about. That's what we see as the future. That is the thing that no one can replicate. That is what will always be uniquely you, is that when people come into your world, your environment, it's your special magic sauce experience that will make the difference for your students.
Well, buddy, I experienced it firsthand recently attending your Business by Design event. It was awesome. You and your team did a spectacular job, and you can tell the attention to detail to create that experience for your people. And I love it. I love the examples that you gave, both from in the beginning when you were talking about personalizing, but I can see how this is part of that experience. You know, the personalization is part of that experience that you're talking about going into 2018. And I think the thing that I wrote down was, you said not about the content, but the context of the experience. And I think that is one of those things that's very hard for people to replicate. And that's what gives you that competitive advantage. So I love it. I love it. Now, yes. Okay. As we wind down, I want to let everybody know where they can find out more. You've got your amazing Mind Your Business podcast, and so I'd encourage everybody to go check that out. But where else should people go to find out more about you?
Honestly, that's the only place I would love for them to go, because we're putting out 1 to 2 episodes every single week. You know, I just did an episode with Sonia Stringer.
Nice.
Who, we're in the same mastermind with Jeff, and she's amazing. And we just did a whole episode that comes out Monday about the hidden subconscious drivers that keep us stuck from reaching our full potential. And she has this whole quiz and assessment, and it was like mind-blowing. And I got to actually share my hidden drivers and how they impact my life. And it's unbelievable. So the website's mindyourbusinesspodcast.com. You can find us on iTunes. All I do is talk about the mental, emotional, roller coaster of being an entrepreneur and mastering that inner game, because I do believe that if you want to grow your business, it's less about working on the business and much more about working on you.
Buddy, you're a great friend, a great businessman, and I appreciate you a tremendous amount. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Stu.
All right, buddy. Woo! Hot diggity dog. What an amazing broadcast this has been so far. We've heard from Carrie Green, Ryan Levesque, Kevin Rogers, Rachel Miller, and of course, most recently, James Wedmore. My friends, we have still got more to go. We still have Amy Porterfield coming up. We still have Jeff Walker coming up. We still have Russell Brunson coming up. Lots more to look forward to. Here's what we're going to do now. We are going to take a quick break. We're going to come back in 8 minutes from now. So 9:10 Eastern time. In the meantime, I'm going to go and have a pee. I'm just being honest. I've been drinking some water. I'm a little full. So I got to go empty the tanks. But when we come back, we're going to be here with the lovely Amy Porterfield, and we're going to continue moving on here. So stay with us. We'll be back in 8 minutes. I'll see you soon. Hey, it's Stu, and we are at one of the top marketing conferences of the year, which means there are so many incredible entrepreneurs and marketers, and I'm here with Lindsay Padilla. And Lindsay, what has been your top marketing strategy of the year?
My top and most favorite and fun to implement is definitely using messenger bots. We were able to increase engagement prior to a webinar, so we were able to remind people of webinars and all of that, but also have fun, right? It's a very intimate space to end up in someone's personal messenger box, so you're kind of really actually having real conversations. As much as it may seem weird that it's a bot, people know it's not a bot, and they actually want to talk with you, and it's really fun. And gifts, also gifts. I could use them all day.
So what's one thing that you've done with bots that has made it a little bit more unique?
Yeah, so we were really big on making sure people knew that it wasn't like me trying to pretend that it was me. And so we make characters tied to like the different products that we have or the different things that we're launching. And so we have a bot called Marty McFunnel. So we play on Back to the Future. And so we got gifts galore and really fun jokes and quotes and stuff. So that has made it really fun and playful.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
We are here at one of the world's top marketing conferences, and I am with Ron Reich. Ron, what is your #1 strategy for the last year?
All right, so I've worked with a lot of really big product launches and all sorts of different tactics, generating tens of $millions in revenue. And here's one tactic that has been worth millions of revenue as well. It's very, very simple. In this day and age, as much as we love all the automation and sexy marketing funnels and things like that, which is all great, really one thing that's really going to move the needle in your launches and promotions is the one-on-one connection, the personal heart-to-heart connection with your prospects and future customers. And a really easy strategy for doing this is during your launch is instead of sending all of your traffic and emails and ads to your sales page, send them to a page where they can actually book a telephone call with one of your program advisor type people who could then tell them about your program through a phone call and see if it's a good fit for them. If you could just implement this one tactic in your business, you're going to see the sky's the limit.
Awesome. Sweet. So I am here at a marketing conference, and that means we are surrounded by amazing entrepreneurs, including Navid Moazzez. Navid, what has been your #1 marketing strategy of the year?
Yeah, my #1 marketing strategy of the year has been hosting virtual summits. We did one, and it got 26,000 email subscribers and over 2,100 customers, and that generated multiple 6 figures in revenue for my business.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So how does somebody go about doing one, real quick?
Yeah, you're gonna pick a specific topic and it's gonna be aligned with whatever you're offering. If that's a membership site or an online course, make your summit really specific, and then in the back end you can promote your course or membership site. That's how we are doing it, and that brings in a lot of revenue for our business.
Bada bing, bada boom. Well, we are here at one of the world's top marketing conferences, and I'm with Kyle Chowning. Kyle, what has been one of your top marketing strategies of the year?
Yeah, so my top marketing strategy this year is actually giving some visibility into the KPIs that drive everybody's business. What I have found is that a lot of people just do marketing from their gut, and what ends up happening at the end of the day is that they do a big old promotion. They were successful because it either hit their goal or it was above what they thought they would run. But if you actually look at things like conversion rate, it's not that great.
So let's talk about that. What are some key numbers that people should pay attention to?
Yeah, so you need to look at like your opt-in rate from your sales page, like how many people are opting in. You want to shoot for at least 50%. If you have below 50%, something's wrong. You got to do some testing. The other thing you want to look in is like how many people are converting. So when you have an opt-in, like you've got lead magnets, you've got webinars that are all where people are opting into your promotion. You want to look at how many of those people are buying, and really depending on how much your price point is should determine where your range of conversion is.
And so what have you typically seen?
Yeah, so if it's over, I'd say over $1,000 product, typically what I'm seeing right now is that we're looking at right around 1 to 2%. Anybody above that is killing it.
Yeah.
Like they've got their funnel is like it's tuned in, they're doing something good. If it's a $300 product or it's a $500 product, you can see as high as like 6 to 8%.
Awesome. Boom. There you have it. Key metrics. Know them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It's good to have you again. The tanks are emptied. We're feeling refreshed and we're ready to go. Listen, I want to give some things away. So, because we've got lots of things that we can give away. And Kevin Rogers gave us a few copies of his book. So we're going to give some of those away. So let's, we're going to queue that up. Also, I think we've given Carrie Green's book away. We've given Ryan's book away. We'll give some of Kevin's books away. So I want to give a shout out. These people, you are getting a free copy of Kevin Rogers' 60-second sales hook. You heard him talk about that tonight. So Marianne Kane, congratulations. Julie King and Jody Rodriguez. Well, my friends, you just won yourself a copy of Kevin's book. And that is because we are sending goodies randomly to those of you who have upgraded to the upgrade package, which includes unlimited replays, it includes video and audio recordings, it includes the transcripts, it includes the summary guides, and it includes a bunch of other goodies that some of our speakers have thrown in that complement what they talked about. So we talked about some of the examples from Ryan, some of the examples from James, who we just heard from, and so there's so much more goodness coming to those of you who have upgraded, and if you haven't done so yet, what the heck are you waiting for? It's $27 for crying out loud, and $27 gets you all that goodness that you can refer to again and again all year long. Now, here's the thing. Again, as a reminder, 100% of every dollar tonight goes to, and tonight and, you know, even after tonight when it comes to the marketing forecast, goes directly to those people in Florida who are still dealing with the aftermath of the hurricane. As I said, we have people on our team who were directly impacted by this. One of them, in fact, had her home completely destroyed, and so we're determined to do something about it. Grassroots style, baby, and this is it. And I can tell you that we have raised over $20,000. We're closing in on $21,000 now, which is amazing. And I expect that number to go up higher because we had some downtime and some challenges as Awesome on our team tried to explain it to me because it was a bit technical, but he tried to, make it easy for me to understand. He's like, Stu, imagine that you are feeling constipated. And I was like, okay. And he's like, and then imagine that you are slowly getting things through and now the toilet is clogged. He's like, that's exactly what's happened tonight. We've had a whole bunch of people hitting the site all at once, and even though the servers were ready for it, the servers got a little constipated. So long story short, they're unclogging the servers, and things are moving slowly but surely. And so if any of you have had troubles, we apologize for that. It's a live broadcast. This is one of those things that's happening, when we're live. We got so many people all at once. But the good news is we're closing in on $21,000. I expect that to continue to go up. And if you haven't upgraded, you're going to want to do it before midnight tonight because the price is then going up to $97. But either way, $27, $97, you're going to get more value than that. And 100% is going to people in Florida for the hurricane relief. So, all right, with that, now I'm going to bring on a dear and lovely friend. She is the voice behind Online Marketing Made Easy podcast. Did you know that in Canada, her podcast is like one of the top podcasts of all podcasts? I mean, us Canadians, we just love this girl. And that's why I'm excited to bring her on, the legendary Amy Porterfield. Amy, are you there, my friend?
I am here. Canadians love me, I guess.
They do love you. We all love you. I mean, and can we blame them? Listen, I'm so excited to have you because you and I have been dear friends for a long time. We were in a mastermind for many, many years. And I've just continued to watch you evolve, continue to watch you and your business grow, your persona grow, your presence grow, your confidence grow, your vulnerability grow, and I'm loving watching you develop and watching your business continue to explode. And listen, we can go in so many different directions. I mentioned the podcast, but you've got other things like your courses that convert, your webinars that convert. You got all these great courses. You're an amazing teacher. But tonight I want to talk to you about your business and what is behind this growth, particularly as we get into looking back on and reflecting on this past year. But before we get into that, how the heck are you?
Wow, that was a lot that you just threw at me. First of all, I love that you're doing this. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. I want to donate to your cause. This is amazing. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. And we have been friends forever. You have been a huge mentor of mine. You always give me great ideas for my business. So I'm excited that we get to talk about our business. But to answer your first question, I'm doing great.
Awesome. And I also want to ask you, how's your little pup doing? He's probably...
Oh my gosh. His name is Scout.
Yeah.
He is precious and he's doing wonderful. Thank you. Do you have a doodle yet?
No, don't tell the kids. It's coming soon. So in the spring, yes, we.
So exciting!
It is exciting. It is exciting. Okay, so listen, you've had a monster year. You continue to level up every single year. So what's behind your growth this year? What's been some of the most effective marketing strategies for you in the last 12 months?
So we did something new this year. It was really, really scary, and I'm so very glad we had the experience, but we went almost full automation in terms of sales this year. So at the end of last year, I just was getting burned out with live launches. When I launch like how you launch, where we go big and we include all the bells and the whistles, and it just became a lot. And so I wanted to step back a bit, and we have 2 programs that we could put on automation. So we said, let's just go for it. So our year was a lot of automation. But the funny thing is, it didn't feel like I was automated all year. It felt like a crazy year. So there were some good things and bad things about it. But if you look at the bottom line, we made a lot of money with automating our 2 signature programs this year.
And so talk to me about that. Like when you talk about automation and people are hearing that you automated the sales of that, what does that look like?
Yeah, I just kind of thought it would be a lot easier than it was. So here's what it looks like. We put together funnels for both of those programs, and they were very similar funnels, so I'll just give you an example. I've got this program, like you said, called Webinars That Convert. And what we did is we put together the pre-launch funnel. So we would get people to sign up for a blog post, or maybe for a podcast episode. They'd listen to they wouldn't sign up for a blog post. They'd read a blog post or listen to a podcast episode. And from there, they'd get some kind of freebie. And then from there, we would invite them to my webinar. If they didn't sign up for it right away, we'd invite them again to my webinar. Once we get them on my webinar, then it's just basically looks like a live launch. And that's the part that made it so profitable, but so much work as well. Because we had same day that you watched the webinar bonuses, we had 48-hour bonuses. We have, I shouldn't say we still have end of cart bonuses. So we've got a lot of stuff going on with an evergreen webinar. So it just took a long time to get it up and running and really converting at the rate we wanted it to.
And so, for you, you're selling these programs constantly, and so the funnel for everybody listening is essentially you're driving people from a variety of different resources, the blog, the podcast, Facebook ads, and they're opting in for something, some great freebie. And then from there, you have a nurture sequence that then invites them to join one of your webinars. On the webinar, you deliver and you offer your program, and then there's follow-up for those that do not buy right there and then.
Right, a lot of follow-up, a lot of emails that come after that. And it's all through, it's all set up so that everyone's on their own deadline. So that means that there's time is ticking, so the urgency is there, so that makes it really valuable as well.
Gotcha. Okay, so do you mind if I dig a little deeper here? Because I got some questions that I'm thinking of for myself, and I'm sure I'm going to look in the comments, and I'm sure some others have that. So first of all, what kind of technology are you using to do all this?
So we use Infusionsoft, and we use Plus This. So those are our main two tools, and then Webinar Ninja is another, the evergreen platform we use for the webinar.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. And then I want to ask you about how do you create urgency for an evergreen offer?
Okay, so that's the part that I feel like we really nailed down, but it took some work. And hold on, I'm going to choke. It just was a lot of work. I got a little excited. So basically, what it looks like is that we would have a first day bonus. So if you watch the webinar and you buy on that first day, we have a bonus for you. And we have to just really track it in terms of segmentation and have some really good systems set up that are talking to each other so we know who bought on that first day. And then we have a 48-hour bonus that comes through email marketing after the webinar. And we've got our cart close bonuses. Now, here's what's cool. Because we use Plus This and because we've integrated it with our email service provider, we are able to then change the links so that if you miss that 48-hour bonus, you're going to go to a sales page that doesn't even mention it, or might have a pop-up box that said, hey, you missed it. So we have multiple sales pages as well, depending on where they're clicking. And for the record, I do not recommend this to everybody. If you're just starting out, I want you to have earmuffs on right now, because this is not how I would start out. We've just been at it for a while, so we've really built it up.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that that's important. And thank you for saying that, because, you know, we have all kinds of people listening, some early stage entrepreneurs, other seasoned pros. And I think that what we're talking about here is specifically with your business, what was effective in your business. And as you mentioned, it's the automation that has been the winning strategy for you. Now, let me also talk to you about what were the things that you really needed to get dialed in? Because you said it took a little while to get things dialed in. What were you dialing?
So one of the things we noticed was that our conversion rate wasn't as high as, of course, it is, let's say, during a live launch. But then we noticed that it started dropping a little bit. So what we needed to do is find out why. And we hired somebody to talk to those people that just bought the program. Why did you buy? What do you love about it? Where are you going to start? Then we had her also talk to people that had been in the program for a while. And we uncovered, we called this our webinar audit, we uncovered that a lot of people that were buying the program didn't yet have anything to sell. And I made the assumption that they did. And so they were ready to sell and get their webinar together. So the second we realized that, we put together a bonus of how to sell a live workshop on a webinar. So we were able to kind of uncover something that was missing and then fix the funnel with a really great webinar bonus that I then re-recorded the webinar and talked about this bonus. And we instantly saw an increase in conversion rate when I did that. So that was one thing that we did. We kind of started to dissect the whole thing and see where we might have a hole. And then, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, like, I just want to take a little time out here because I hope everybody's picking up on this. This is something that is like, it's one of those duh moments, you know, I'm sure everybody's having, but how many of us actually do this? How many of us actually take a time out, talk to people like old school style, you know? And I just love hearing you talk about this because look at what happened. I mean, you uncovered this huge insight that then now impacts thousands and thousands of people who are going to view that content. I mean, it's brilliant. And it's one of those easy things that we can all do, which is just go back to people who have bought and ask, you know, questions. Talk to them.
Like, where are you now that you bought this? What do you need? And I would have never guessed that they needed something to sell. So we actually went back and updated the sales page. We changed the emails because I thought it was that they were scared of the technology. I've always assumed that because maybe 2 years ago I did a survey and realized my students were afraid of the technology. That is not the case anymore. So my students evolve as my business evolves. So that was a huge aha for me.
Amazing, amazing. Okay. Great stuff. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about dialing in before I dive into the next question?
No, let's do it.
Okay, so now moving forward, you talked about last year being the year of automation for you, spending some time dialing it in, talking to people, finding in things, dialing it more, and now you got the smooth operating machine. What's next? Well, you know, what are the big opportunities for you, the big things that you're excited about going into 2018?
So the funny thing is that a year of automation made me miss my audience a little too much because I was not getting that live interaction. One of the things that a live launch allows you to do is get right in there into the trenches with your soon-to-be students, and you get to learn from them even before they buy from you. So there's a huge value in the live launching and engaging. And so I've been watching trends, like where are things going, what's going to happen next year? And then I ask myself, what do I want? What would make me happier in my business? And it definitely has to do with more live engagement. So of course I could say, you know, I think live video is a big piece of our business next year and many people's businesses, but it goes beyond that. I think any opportunity you can create in your business to get that real-time engagement, like we're doing here, like really showing up and knowing that you can engage with your audience is something you can never, ever put a price on. So yeah, we might have made a whole heck of a lot of money with automation, and it might have allowed me to step back a little bit in terms of the live launching, but I lost that really amazing connection with my audience, and I crave it. And the cool thing is I'm excited to do another live launch where, if you asked me last year, I was not excited to do so. And so we are moving into creating more opportunities for that live engagement, whether it be live online or live in person, small group engagement, but I want to get more in the proximity of my students. And I have a lot of students, so maybe not all of them, but those that want that opportunity, I'm going to pay less attention to how many and more attention to, like, if there's 10 people in front of me, they get all my attention. I want to create those types of opportunities.
Well, and I noticed that you started to experiment with this toward the end. You started doing a little more live. I was like, that a girl, look at her go. And I know people who have attended the events and have said, you know, what a great experience it has been. And I love it because you are, and I say this to you all the time, but I want everybody else to know, Amy is such a delight in person. Like, we see her, she's such a delight online. We see her, she's such a delight in video. But it's like the delight level goes up 3 notches when you experience Amy in person. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited for your audience to get to know you on a deeper level because there's so much amazingness that you have to offer.
Well, thank you, Stu. That means the world coming from you. And I think my whole mission is I do want to get more vulnerable with my students. And there's nothing more vulnerable than being in real time with them, whatever way you choose to be in real time. So yeah, it's definitely my new mission.
That's awesome. Well, listen, as we wind down your segment here, we've already mentioned your podcast, the Online Marketing Made Easy. Make sure you go subscribe and download that today. Where else can people find out more about you?
Well, thanks for asking. If you go to amyporterfield.com, I've got a lot of free goodies there as well.
Awesome. Any final thoughts for everybody as we wind down?
I think one thing that's so important to think about is, what do you love to do? And look at the year and think about all those opportunities of what you loved working on, what was really exciting for you, what you wanted to get involved in the most, and then pair that with what your students need. I think as entrepreneurs, we want to do the stuff that our students need because it makes us a lot of money and a great impact. But sometimes as entrepreneurs, we get burned out because we start doing stuff that we don't love, but we think we should be doing. And so I've always got to check myself. Do I love doing this? And if the answer is no, it's going away. So I think it's something important to look to as we go into the new year.
Buddy, you're amazing. Thank you so much for jumping on. Thank you for sharing.
Really quick.
Yes.
Tell me again where I donate. I want to donate to this, so tell me where I go.
You're amazing. Oh, we got to hit. Hey, look, we just hit another milestone. We have officially crossed the $21,000 mark, so I'm super pumped about that. $27 at a time, baby. So thank you to everybody who has contributed. The best thing to do, we've actually, a number of people have asked if there's a way to donate more than the $27.
Yeah.
We made a marketing flop here, Amy. We did not think about this, but we are going to fix that. So we may have a follow-up to that. But right now, the way to contribute is just to sign up for the Marketing Forecast Live. Go there, and then you'll see the offer for the recordings, the transcripts, the replays, the summary guides, and all the extras that have been thrown in here tonight. So that's the best way. But I think we will have a follow-up where people can contribute more if they want to.
Okay, cool. I'm in. So thank you so much for having me, Stu. I truly appreciate it.
You're awesome, buddy. Thanks, Amy. Take care.
Bye.
Man, I love that girl. She is amazing. She is awesome. And I love how the contrast in her answers too. You know, like she went to automation because she, was feeling burnt out in one area. And now because she swung heavy that way, she's swinging the other way. She craves the interaction with her audience. I just think it's so much fun to see the dynamic of the answers, and then also the overlap. You know, you heard similar response from James in terms of getting more personalized and more touches with the audience, if you will. And Amy was saying the exact same thing, which was interesting to see the parallels between some of the answers. So, my goodness, what a night so far, and we still have two more incredible people coming up. The one on deck is a tremendous friend, a mentor of mine, and just somebody who I have so much respect for. He's coming up here in just a second. Before we do, I want to give away some more stuff. I love giving away stuff, and we've got some people to give stuff away too, which is fun. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give away let me see here. I'm going to give away 4 copies of our next speaker's book. So coming up on deck is the legendary Jeff Walker. We all know him as the founder of Product Launch Formula. He is also best-selling author of the book Launch, and so we're going to give away 4 copies of his book. So I want to congratulate Gail Strawn, I think I'm saying this right, hopefully. Gail Strawn, Jackie Smith, Anita Kemp, and Jeff. Buddy, Jeff, I love you, but I have a challenge pronouncing your last name. I think it's Jeff, Jeff Furworker Jeff. I apologize, buddy. I'm struggling with your last name, but you know who you are. I love you, man. You're getting a free copy of Jeff's book. And again, our team is randomly picking people who have upgraded to the package, and we're giving goodies away to those. So congratulations to Gail, Jackie, Anita, and Jeff. Speaking of Jeff, ladies and gentlemen, I have gotten the thumbs up from the team that we are going to bring the myth, the man, the legend himself on right now. So without further ado, Mr. Jeff Walker, are you there, buddy?
I'm here.
Yes, there he is. Good to see you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am just absolutely awesome.
Well, listen, I am so grateful that you're here. I mentioned that you have been a dear friend, a mentor of mine, and the respect and the admiration that I have for you is that you essentially have been selling the same product for well over a decade now, and yet every single year you continue to not only sell it, but the sales continue to grow and grow and grow. And for me, that longevity is something that I admire so much. And I know that you're not just sitting back on your laurels, and you're not just like, cashing in on the good momentum that you've built up, but you're intentional about this, and that's why I'm excited to talk to you about it tonight as we continue to move forward. So before I get into that, I want to ask you, looking back on the past year, what has been one of the most effective strategies for you that has continued to help you and your business grow?
It's interesting. I've actually been listening for quite a while. I missed out on Ryan. And who's before Ryan? I missed a couple, but I've listened to everyone. I'm like, I need some ideas. I need some ideas of like what because it's like, so it has been 12 years. It's been 21 years online, 12 years now selling product launch formula, teaching people how to launch. And sometimes I think I don't do anything different. I just keep on doing the same stuff over and over. And then I take a look, I'm like, wow, my business is completely, fundamentally different than it was just a few years ago. So, I have a very simple business. It's sort of, there's this dichotomy of giving away a lot of free stuff and then charging premium prices, and then even more premium prices, and then even more premium prices. And that's basically what we do. We put on 2 live events a year, and it's a simple business. But I looked at each individual piece. We made changes this year. And one interesting thing, I don't know, this might be interesting for folks, is that product launch formula, it was in 2005 when we first launched it. It's radically different. We've innovated and updated and changed and on and on and on. But this year we changed our offer. We tested and we found an offer that converted better, which was really interesting to me. And I'll tell you what the change was we had this, it's basically product launch formula. It's a $2,000 offer. It teaches, it's a complete end-to-end training on how to launch. And we always had 3 bonuses that came with it. One was a course on building and profiting from your list. The other was a course on creating a product. The third was PLF Live, my live event. And Stu, you've been out to the live event many times because we always have you as our nonprofit sponsor. Our you're not our sponsor. It's like what do we call you? Our benefactor.
Well, all I know is you raise a boatload of money for our charity, and we help a whole lot of people over in Kenya.
There you go. So I got to be quick here. So I have 3 main offers and bonuses. One of the bonuses is PLF Live, and I had it in my head that actually might suppress response because not everyone gets out to live events. And I thought some people would look at this offer and say, I'm not going to go to that live event, so I'm not going to get the value out of the event, out of the products I'm not going to buy. So that was always a question in the back of my head. And I wanted to test it. And I wanted to test, so I've been wanting to test that for years. And so finally we created 2 different sales videos, one that didn't have that and one that did have it, the PLF Live versus no PLF Live. And actually, I chickened out. I was like, I'm going to pull this bonus out, but I ended up putting in another bonus, which was like these 3 mini courses. So it was 3 bonuses versus 3 bonuses. One had PLF Live, one didn't. One had mini bonuses or mini courses. And now the data scientists out there will tell you, Jeff, that's not a perfect test. And I know enough about statistics to understand it's not a perfect test, but it was an interesting test. And what happened was an absolute dead heat between the 2. There was no difference in conversion between those 2. But I had anticipated that possibility, so I also created another sales video, a 3rd sales video, that had basically PLF Live, the 3 bonuses versus 4 bonuses. So it was, the list course, the product course, and PLF Live. The other one was list course, product course, PLF Live, and all these mini courses. And lo and behold, guess which one? Guess which one? You already know, I already told you this story. The 4 bonuses beat the 3 bonuses. And And what's interesting here isn't this specific thing. What's interesting here is one of the things that you teach, Stu, and I know this to be a fact, is many of us, we overwhelm people. There's a tendency for product creators to overwhelm our clients, to give them too much stuff. And this is part of your teaching in Tribe, is that the way you lose people is you overwhelm them. Everyone's too busy, so more content doesn't win. You got to be judicious in your bonuses. You got to be judicious in your content. You got to be efficient, and I know that. But what the split test is telling me was different. It was like people wanted more bonuses, but the difference is people are greedy when they're buying. When they buy, they want more bonuses. But then when you, and just to be clear, we were going all along, everyone that bought was going to get all the bonuses anyways.
Yep.
It was just a matter of what we were telling them they were going to get. And so it's a subtle little thing, but it's interesting. The psychology is that you can, at conversion, people want more stuff. Once they get in the product, they want you to give them a very clean, almost minimalist experience. I mean, you got to give them a complete course, a complete product, a complete value, but just throwing in more stuff, just to throw in more stuff after the fact doesn't help. So that was one of my, I don't know if that's like that was one of my key learnings.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that I took from that, and that is this is a tried and true product and offer that you've had for years. And what I love is that you didn't continue to just sit back and not try things and try and experiment to see how you can improve that. And I think that that's the biggest takeaway for everybody, is that if you've got a proven offer, there's still opportunity there to try some other things to see if you can improve that again and again and again. And so I love this. I love that you experimented, you tried, and the conclusion for everybody is that more on the front end, it helps conversions. And so I think that, this is something for all of us to think about in terms of, improving our conversions, improving our offers, is how we can continue, especially get people in. Because once we get them in, then we can love on them and we can serve them and we can help them. But, getting them in is the hardest part oftentimes. And I love that you had a huge win in regards to that. So kudos and congratulations on that one. Yeah, no, it was interesting. And yeah, I'm a big believer that, it's like James was talking about, like, in the inner game stuff. I am so all about that. And that's frankly where I'm doing most of my work right now, is inner game and leadership. And we've been growing our team pretty dramatically. We have an amazing team, and it's allowing me to do stuff in our organization and in my life that we couldn't do before. But that's been, for me, it's just like James said, as within, so without. And these days, and who was right before James? That was Rachel Miller. Rachel, she was awesome. She is awesome. I didn't know Rachel before this call. So, and Rachel was talking about community, and both of them were talking about authenticity. And what the thing these days, people, they don't buy just for more stuff, right? We're all too busy. They buy because you're going to move them forward, because you're going to make a change in their lives, and because they believe you. There's so many people out there. Everyone and their brother's got a podcast, an Instagram. Everyone does, and everyone's purporting to be a thought leader and change your life. And a lot of them have got great stuff, but a lot of them don't. And the person who's looking to buy from you, they have to decide. The first thing they buy you before they buy the product. And that has been huge for years, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I look at what you're doing on Instagram, Stu, and people feel like they're dropping into your life. They buy you first, and that's absolutely critical. And I look at that, like I just had someone buy we have a program called Launch Club. It's like a $12,000 a year coaching program. And we had someone buy that from me that said, Jeff,
I've watched I put out a weekly video, been doing it for 4.5, 5 years. He said, Jeff, I've never bought a thing. I've been watching your videos for years, have never bought a thing from you. The first thing I bought from you was $12,000.
Wow.
That's what showing up, and I mean, the word authentic gets overused, but I think it's a critically important word. And just showing up, showing who you are, not trying to be the person that appeals to everyone, but just showing up consistently and building that connection and building value. But you know, the reality is it's like my weekly videos are mostly not about marketing. They're as much about mindset as anything. And we all have to be in that world. If you're going to affect change, if you're going to sell a product to someone and affect change, one changes their life without changing their inner game. So you have to work on your inner game. Just like James said, as within, so without. Your inner game is going to shine through, and that's what people are going to buy. But you also have to work on your client's inner game as well.
Yeah, well, and I'm taking a lot from this too, because we're in that period where, you know, I'm being challenged, you know, as, you know, to up level the business. You know, I've got to up level myself. And so I want to ask a quick follow-up question for you on that. And then I want to get to your predictions for 2018. But, you know, from the outside, Jeff, everyone's looking at you saying, dude, this guy's been around for a long time. He's got a well-established business. Every year he does millions and millions of dollars, got thousands and thousands of students. I mean, what are you looking to up level? Like, what are you working on, you know, when it comes to up leveling your inner game?
Well, I mean, it's leadership. I have gotten to the level now where I can't continue to create a greater impact by working harder. And frankly, I don't want to. I've worked really hard for a long time. The only way I can do that is by leading a team, by getting people invested in me and my vision for the world we can create, for the impact we can create, and have them say, yeah, Jeff, I want to join your team. I want to be part of your team. I want to be part of this movement you're creating. So the only way that I can get more leverage is through the leverage of my team. And so being a leader for them is not a natural thing for me. I wasn't born knowing how to lead a team. And so that has been a lot of growth for me. I started it like 3 years ago. I'm sort of a slow learner about things. But yeah, I work on that all the time. And part of that is, you know, I tell you what, when I eat better, when I sleep better, when I meditate, when I do yoga, when I do all the self-care things, when I get outside and exercise, when I go for a walk in the woods with the dog, when I go for a run, when I go mountain biking, all those self-care things, it's amazing how much, like, I think if you would ask the people on my team, they would say something like, well, yeah, when Jeff's taking care of that stuff, all of a sudden he's a lot better person to work with.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. So I want to shift gears. I want to focus on moving forward, because you are one of those people that I go to, that I lean on in terms of, you know, the way that you're thinking and strategizing and so forth. So going into 2018, what do you see are some big opportunities for yourself and for everybody listening here tonight?
For me, well, so first of all, I mean, obviously live is hot right now. And I think it's not something, frankly, that I'm focused on so much. I do really well in a live environment. It's great for me, but I don't, you know, I am super lifestyle driven, and I'm just not going to do it. You know, I'm not going to regularly schedule showing up live. But I do think it's a great opportunity for someone that's younger and hungrier than me. Just in all honesty, I think the Facebook bots are super interesting. It feels like a bubble. It feels like something that's going to get abused. It feels more like it could be more of a short-term opportunity than anything, but it's very, very interesting. I think like focusing on, I think paid is just keeps on getting better and better. For most of the people watching this, you know, we can reach people that we couldn't reach 4 or 5 years ago.
You're saying paid advertising? Yep.
Thanks for clarifying. Yep. Personally, for us, like I'm going to take something directly from Used To, and that's the idea of an alumni launch. So for years, well, for the last 12 years, we've had a closed affiliate program. And it was just, we really wanted to keep control over who was promoting for us. And we were worried about people spamming. And I'm not saying anyone should do it this way. It's just the way we did it, and it worked okay for us. But I also think that we have a lot of our PLF alumni, people who have gone through Product Launch Formula that had great success, that would love to tell people about it. And we're going to do a launch where we just invite them in as our partners. And basically open up our affiliate program to our alumni. So that was directly stolen from Used To, 100%. You told me you did that last year, and I'm like, well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to do that. We are going to have a big focus. I mean, we've been focused on paid traffic, paid advertising for a while now. We're going to double down on that strategy. It's working, and we just want to ramp it up. We need more lead magnets. We probably need another offer at some point. It's been 12 years with one offer, but I probably am going to focus. So it's a lot of stuff that I'm already doing that we're just going to sort of ramp up. We have our Launch Club program has been enormously successful. We've had these amazing success stories, and we're getting ready to reboot it to make it even better than it is. So that's like an internal thing. It's just, it goes back to what James was talking about. People are not just buying a course now. They're not buying videos. What's the value of an online video? Well, it's absolutely nothing. I mean, you look at YouTube and how many hours of video gets uploaded every second. The online video doesn't inherently have any value whatsoever. It's the context that you put around it, just like James said. So creating deeper and more meaningful connections, community experiences is certainly, that's one of our top things. So, I mean, it's, nothing's for us super ground. Oh, I'll tell you one cool thing we've got coming up is, at LaunchCon, you just spoke at LaunchCon. James just spoke at LaunchCon. I just spoke at LaunchCon. So that was just a month ago, and I floated this idea, a half-baked idea of a $10,000 event, super high-end, like sort of how to 10x your launch, and people the response to that was insane. So the idea of putting on a $10,000 event and what I have to do to create the value for that event has got me really excited.
That's awesome. Well, there's so much to look forward to, and I want to just give a shout out to some of the people who have been leaving comments here. David Cooper said, still the best conference I've attended is Jeff's PLF Live. He said, also met Stu there. Ultimately, providing great value is so important, and yes, being authentic and relatable is so important. And then Pat, I think it's Gillis, said, you want authentic right there with Jeff Walker. PLF Live and LaunchCon are both awesome events. I've learned so much, and through him, he has connected me to so many others I can learn from. Fantastic. So lots of people who have benefited from you, the live events, and everything that you continue to provide. Jeff, thank you so much. I want to make sure people know where they can find out more about you. So where should people go? Is it your website, jeffwalker.com?
Yeah, and specifically the blog there. I mean, if you go to jeffwalker.com, it's just the website, but the blog there, I put out weekly videos there every single week.
And they're awesome. Every Sunday. I look forward to them, buddy. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for all that you continue to do. Appreciate you and our friendship and joining us here tonight. So you're awesome, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Stu, because I'll tell you what, the work you've done, I mean, it goes back to that first call we did, what was that, like 06 or 07 or something like that? I don't know, forever ago, when your first fundraiser, and watching what you've done with nonprofits and with charities has been a huge source of inspiration to me. And I know I've gone big in that direction, and I know that that's helped influence another whole generation. So, I mean, I think the impact you're having, I mean, this call, $21,000 is absolutely amazing. And if you add up, I mean, the impact you're making is into the millions and millions and millions of dollars of helping people in need. So,
well, buddy, I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, you have been a huge contributor to that. So, you know, at your events and the schools that we've built over in Kenya, we got schools and schools of people over there. You know, thanks to the PLF community, and I'm forever grateful. So, but buddy, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Awesome. Yeah, see you, buddy. Woo, man. It just keeps getting better and better. Listen, I don't know about you, but my notebook continues to fill up with so many great nuggets. One of the ones that I wrote down there for Jeff was they buy you before they buy your product. Love that from Mr. Jeff Walker. He just comes with so much seasoned wisdom, and it's just a treasure to have him. And we have one final person coming up here in just a second. The one and only Mr. Russell Brunson. So he will be joining us here in just a sec. But listen, what a night we have had so far. And I just want, again, for those of you who are watching and listening and you have not upgraded, go and do that now. It's $27 for crying out loud. And you've gotten more than $27 worth of value. And here's the thing, you're going to want to listen to this again. I guarantee you want to listen to it again. And I guarantee that you're going to want to get not only the replays, the audio recordings, the transcripts, but our team is also going to go through the hours and hours of footage, and we're going to distill it down to the big takeaways that you and I can begin applying to our business in the summary guides. So make sure you go get that. Plus, some of the speakers here tonight have also said they're going to contribute their examples and swipe files to the package. So many of them talked about different strategies and tactics that they have used this year that have produced great returns. They're going to show you the examples and some swipe files of those. That's included too in the upgrade package. So make sure you do that before midnight, and it's $27. After midnight, the price goes up to $97, but $27 or $97, it don't matter. 100% of it is going to support people who have still dealing with the aftermath of the hurricane down in Florida. And I know Houston was affected by that, and so many other areas were affected by that. Our hearts are near dear to Florida because we had two members of our team from there who were in the midst of that, right in the thick of it. One of them had her home completely destroyed. And so for us, that's why we're doing this. That's why we put this on, and that's why I'm so grateful for Carrie and Ryan and Kevin and Rachel and James and Amy and Jeff, and our next guest coming up here, Mr. Russell Brunson. So go upgrade, get the upgrade package, $27. It's a steal of a deal if you ask me. Okay, let me see here. So let's see if we can continue to climb this number. We're on our way to $22,000. I want to see if we can get there. That would be amazing. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the comments. My goodness, you guys are an active bunch. Thank you, Pat and Kim. Drew, good to see you, buddy. Karen and Christy, Damon, David, Mitch, love this. Thank you for that, Mitch. Gina, great to have you. Heather, Dion, good to see you. James and Cheryl, holy cow. I can't keep up with everybody. You guys are amazing. All right, so now we're going to finally get down to our final guest of the evening. I just want to get the thumbs up from our team. Are we good to go? I've got a 1 second. Okay, so 1 second. No problem. But now I got the thumbs up. Okay, now I got the thumbs up. I'm going to get there. So let me give an official intro. So listen, I've known our next guest probably the longest of any of the guests that we have had on here tonight. He is one of my long-standing, I consider him one of my best friends. We were many years ago, we were business partners in a project, still stayed dear friends, and we continue to be. I just absolutely love this guy. I can't wait to get together with him very soon with our families, which is going to be fun. But that is the legendary Mr. Russell Brunson. Russell, how the heck are you, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing amazing. I apologize that I'm a little late. We're in a hotel room, and my first computer didn't work, so we boot up on another computer, but we made it. We're here, and
dude,
yay.
Listen, no worries. You were right on time in terms of our books. I'm just super pumped to have you because listen, I'll give the official Stu intro. Russell is on a mission, And Russell, if you don't know, is the co-founder of ClickFunnels. And ClickFunnels has served now, golly, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people when it comes to helping them build funnels, sales funnels that help you generate more sales. Now, the crazy thing is that Russell's company has exploded. Not just like incremental gains, like monumental jumps. And that's what I want to talk to him about tonight because, dude, 2017, it's been one heck of a year for you. Like, the company has absolutely, exploded. So I want to ask you, I'm just going to flat out ask you, what in the last 12 months has been the most effective strategy that has supported you and your company in that growth?
That's what we preach. It's the funniest thing.
Oh no!
Did it freeze?
It did. I think you're okay now. I think you're okay now. Fingers crossed.
You gotta love hotel internet. I apologize. No, it's funny because like we practice what we preach. Like we tell everyone in the world like sales funnels are the thing, and that's what we've been doing. And we've launched a bunch of really big funnels. ClickFunnels is a company, and that's been the whole secret behind it. We practice what we preach, and it actually works.
Well, dude, one of the things that I love and admire about you is your ability to think big and then come up with, great hooks. I've said to you before personally, and I'll say it in public, you are one of the best at being able to come up with a creative angle to be able to make what it is that you're selling super compelling for people. And so when you have been setting up the sales funnels and you've been utilizing all this stuff, what is it about the way that you're approaching thinking about your sales funnels that's making all the difference for you guys?
Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of got started in this business when I was like 15 years old. I was watching infomercials, junk mail, and I would get so much junk mail in the mail. I'd go to my bedroom and I'd read it. And I was like the nerdiest kid ever. And it's funny because I get so excited about different ideas and concepts. Someone would bore me, I'd just throw the thing away. And other ones I would just I read it like 20 times and I beg my parents for their credit card. And so when would 15-year-old Russell, would he be excited about this concept or the way I said that or the words or the video? Would he be like, Mom, I need your credit card? Or would he be like, throw it away? And so for me, it's always thinking back about that, just remembering myself as a little kid, what would have got me fired up? I think for a lot of people, it's like, we always try to think what do our prospects want? But it's like, most of you guys are selling stuff that was it's what you're obsessed with. The reason why you're on this journey is because forever, it's like, what was the thing that got you so pumped up and excited? Remembering that and then trying to speak to you, little Stu, teaching little Stu about membership.
Oh, there you go. I got it. So I think if I piece it together, I think it was, getting so excited and thinking back to what would get, I think the last one I heard was Little Stu. And so I was thinking about Little Stu. Most people call me Stuart Little, but that's a different conversation. But thinking about what would get that inner child excited? What would get that person who, is initially coming into it, into your market, into your industry? What is it that's going to light them up and get them excited?
Yeah, 100%. Just remember back to what it was that got you excited, and then being able to tell that story. That's been the key for us. For me.
So I want to give. I know you've got some examples of how you have done this year. I'm going to give one that immediately comes to mind based on what we're talking about. I knew as soon as you sent me a video about this was the perfect example of that inner Russell who is that big kid inside just getting super excited. And that was when you did the the big party for your viral video. And it was held at Boise State in the stadium, and you had the biggest bubble soccer game in the world happening, and you brought in hundreds of people, invited hundreds of people in big influencers to have this big, party for the big reveal of this viral video that you had been working on. And I could tell, like, when you sent the invitation, it had like pure Russell, little kid written all over it. And so talk to me about that, and talk to me about some other examples of how you just continue to craft offer that speaks to that like inner excitement.
And that's a big one. Like when we were trying to do the viral video launch, we're like, we should do a party behind this, because like I like going to parties. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to go to parties. So then we're like putting together that party, right? And then we're like what would make me actually leave my house and fly to this thing? I'm like, well, just an event I probably wouldn't, but if it was this maybe, and just kind of crafting things based on that. When we launched the Expert Secrets book, it was kind of the same thing. Like, what would get me to actually want to promote this? And I remember like a month earlier, Todd had found these like full Batman and Iron Man suits you can buy. They're like legit, like you put them on and you are Batman. And I was like, I want one so bad, but I'm like, I'm not going to buy one for myself. But if I won one, I would totally be so excited. And so I had to buy one for myself. So I bought it for myself. I dressed up in it, and I made a whole video like, I will give you a Batman suit like this if you promote my book. And because that's what it got me to promote, and it got a lot of people to promote, So just always thinking back about like that part of like what would get you excited and get you to actually take whatever action it is you want that person to take, whether it be promoting something or buying something or registering for a webinar. Like I see people all the time that have these headlines for the webinar, like, hey, come on my webinar to learn how to build a membership site. I'd be like, that's boring. But if Stu's like, here's how we did blah, blah, like something exciting, then I'm like, okay, I want to come to that. It's just always thinking about that, like what would get little Russell or little Stu or Stuart Little excited enough that we'd actually show up to our own thing. Because if you were to show up for your own thing, like there's no way you're going to do the other thing. There's no way your customers are going to be half excited as you are. So I'm always just trying to put myself back in that place in all of our marketing, like emails I send out and the videos we make and all the different pieces, trying to plug those things in. And we see it. And this is like, on the outside, we see your genuine excitement and enthusiasm and passion for everything that you do. And, it's funny because like, I think oftentimes people think that there's, the on-camera Russell and the off-camera Russell. But the reality is, you're the same dude. You're just as excited about marketing. Like, if you ever get together with Russell, I guarantee you there's going to be a full-out geek fest when it comes to all things marketing, talking about offers and hooks and all this kind of stuff. You live, eat, breathe, and love this stuff. And that passion shows through, and that enthusiasm carries over to your audience. That's awesome. The other day I was driving home from Todd's. I was at Todd's house with my co-founder of ClickFunnels, and I messaged his wife. I was like, hey, we have a TV show we do. I'm like, we should get a camera and do Funnel Hacker TV Atlanta and have you film it. And she's like, okay, I'll do that. I'm like, oh, I was so excited. I was flipping out. And I remember she messaged me back. She's like, you get excited about the dumbest little thing. She's like, never say that so people like you. And I'm like, this is a big deal. She's like, it's not that big of a deal. But who knows? Okay, so that we've reflected on your 2017. You said the biggest thing for you was just eating your own dog food, which was like producing sales funnels, and when it comes to crafting the sales funnels, going back to what would get you excited back in the early days, and really putting yourself in that position, because if you're not excited about it, your audience is not going to be excited about it either. So that was a great takeaway. Looking forward, though, I mean, dude, your business is approaching $100 million. Like, this is a level that, a territory that none of us have gotten to yet. As you're getting there, like, what are you thinking about going into the new year? Like, what are the big opportunities that you're looking at and excited about? Good question. So first off, it's really fun. It's really scary. Like, every level brings in new challenges, new opportunities that you're like, huh, I didn't know I was going to learn that this week. But it's been so cool. And the other fun thing about ClickFunnels is like, we have the ability to see down, like we have about 55,000 active members right now. So we're able to look down on so many businesses and see big trends. Like I never was able to see when it was just my own business. Now we're able to see big trends across the entire platform. And so as I was preparing for this, I was thinking like, what are the two biggest things that I think we found out that are making me, causing me to make big changes in our business in the upcoming year? So the first one, which is crazy. So we start looking at, 55,000 active customers. There's like tens of millions of funnels. You get all the traffic coming through there. As of this year, this is ClickFunnels network on mobile, then on desktop. And so, okay, wait, sorry, buddy. I think you're tablets. Sorry, hang on one second. You're cutting out. Yeah, you said all I caught was the last bit. Like this is the first year that mobile
desktop. That's all. I didn't get the in between bit.
Stupid hotels. We're gonna sue these people afterwards. Just kidding. Okay, I'll try it again. So, so basically, this is the first year that over 50% of all the traffic coming through the ClickFunnels network is mobile. I think it's like almost 60% is mobile.
Wow.
Tablets to look at our stuff, right? It's all 60% is coming from mobile, where it used to be the opposite, where the majority was coming from desktop. And so what's interesting is that most of us design our pages and we're like, oh, mobile. Did I lose you again?
No, I got it. So you're saying most of us design our pages for desktop, and then mobile's an afterthought. And I think where you're going with this is like, it's time to flip that.
Yeah. Mobile or desktop version. And we click on the mobile version, then we actually build it that way first, because that stop making the tweaks you need for desktop versus the other way. And I think what you're going to start seeing, at least from me, and I think from a lot of people, is that sites right now are all typically like 2 column. Like most desktop pages are 2 columns, and mobile's all 1. I think you start seeing sites that are narrower and all 1 column, just as a thing. So I'm excited about that. The second thing is that we actually are finishing all the beta testing this week in ClickFunnels. But what's interesting with mobile, we can actually monitor, like if someone's if they're on an Apple device, they can change the order button. Am I losing you again?
It's like
I'm so sorry.
Dude, I don't know if this is a marketing trick on your end or what, but it's like the ultimate cliffhanger. It's like,
I'm so sorry.
Because what I heard was on mobile, we could tell if you're on an Apple device. I'm like, it's the ultimate cliffhanger. Okay, so on mobile, you can tell if they're on an Apple device, and what is that?
Apple or Android. So if you're on an Apple device, like we can make it where the order form is replaced with if they have Apple Pay installed on their phone and their credit card info, and also the order form will disappear and there's an Apple Pay button. They click on it, boom, dings their credit card. Or if they're on Safari, it'll replace that, and it'll just say like they literally put their finger on their computer on a fingerprint, and it'll build their card. So no credit card entry, no data. If they're an Android phone, same thing. It says, hey, they're an Android phone and they have Android Pay set up on their phone. So don't show the order form, show this instead. And it works with like one-click upsells, downsells, the whole thing. And so early testing, we've been testing it internally, and we're seeing huge, like insane, like 200 to 300% increase in conversions on mobile by adding those little things into the order forms, which now is 60% of your traffic. So it's like it ends up being like doubling the size of your business just by those little things like that.
Amazing, dude. That's killer, man. I mean, those insights come from running a company that is servicing tens of thousands, 55,000 people. It's amazing. Thank you for sharing. That's incredible.
Super cool. So that's the first thing, and then the second. So my 2 big predictions. The first one is just like mobile is the focus. Mobile is like understanding that, and it's just going to keep going that direction. And then the second side of it, what's been interesting looking at the data, is Stu and I, when we first got started back, however many years ago it's been a long time, but like the people that had like the best sales letter or sales video won the game, right? Like they hired the best copywriters and that kind of stuff, and that's how the game was won back then, which was good if you were a good copywriter, and it sucked if you weren't, because then it was hard to win this game, right? What we're starting to see now is like the people that are winning in this game, they are using good copy, like to get people into their world, right? So like they have a front end funnel or something to get somebody into their world, but after they bring someone in, so it's like guys and then like the branding guys, right?
Yep. And
it's like the future. We're seeing people that are growing the fastest. Like they use really good direct response marketing to bring somebody in. And as soon as and they're building, we call them break-even funnels, but a funnel that like gets a customer for free, or you make a little bit of profit, or even lose some money. But then you shift your mindset from like direct response, how do we get this page to convert the best, to like how do we infuse like our personality and our brand and like build an actual real physical relationship with this person. And it's like branding on the backside. So it's not no longer like branding versus direct response. Like that was always this fight for like a decade. It's like the people that master direct response to get somebody in, and then after someone's in is like mastering like building the tribe, the herd, the community, like on the backside, like that's who's winning. It's understanding like both of those skills and having them together. And so that's what we're seeing. People have like one funnel, they struggle because like they're doing this or they're doing this. Someone's got a funnel that brings them in, and the funnel's back here to nurture them and you know, send them up. Those are the people that are having the huge growth and huge leaps and bounds.
Well, I totally agree. And I think it's, you and I have had conversations about this, how it's like, it's the science and the art coming together and that perfect blend. You know, I call it we don't want to be a scientist or an artist. We want to be a scientist. But I love, you know, you're a perfect example of this, you know, building your common phrase is building the culture. You know, because you have done that, you continue to model this for everybody, and it's incredible to watch, buddy. You know, I have so much respect and admiration for the way you continue to grow the company and deal with the challenges that come with growing a company. You know, one of my friends, she used to say, "New level, new devil," and I know that there's a lot of challenges that come with continuing to grow the company, but I just so much respect for you and what you've done and what you continue to accomplish, and thank you so much for sharing in the way that you have. I got a couple writer-downers from everything you said, so thank you, buddy.
No worries. Thanks for letting me come. I apologize. The internet was so awesome here in the hotel.
Dude, don't worry. We're just happy to have you. So as we wind down, two quick follow-up questions. Number one, can we send people to find more about you and get to experience your world?
You know, I say the biggest thing is I always tell people like to read one of my books first, just because it's like it'll get you inside the mindset of what we're doing and why we're doing it.
You mean one of these?
Yes, that book right there. Read that one first, Expert Secrets. So a couple of things. If you go to expertsecrets.com, you get it for free, just shipping and handling. But number two, if you buy, I don't know if you even know this yet, Stu, because I just sent it over to your guys, but if those who upgrade and get the recordings and everything, I actually put the audio book for that book as a bonus for you guys.
Dude, so that's amazing.
If you do the upgrade, you can plug it in your ears and listen. I still think you should get the book, though, because I doodle on every page, and there's little graphics and pictures and stuff. So the audiobook's better when you're following along because there's all the cool doodles. So, like, you still should get the book, but you got the audiobooks you can plug in and listen to while you're running and driving and stuff like that.
Totally. Well, buddy, I had no idea you were going to do that. That's amazing, because I planned on giving some copies of your book away because I love it and I believe it. This is one of the best marketing books that anybody can get their hands on, because it's not just about, you know, I think the title is misleading to a certain degree. Russell, you and I never really talk. Well, you do talk about it. You actually talked about it on your podcast when you were saying, like, this is a copywriting book, but people wouldn't buy a copywriting book if it was, you know, called Copywriting Secrets. But what this is about telling stories. It's about, you know, compelling, or it's about positioning yourself in people's minds, in their hearts. And this is so much more than just selling more products. It's about building movements. And you've done exactly that, you know, with yours. And it's one of the best books I can recommend for people. And so we're going to be giving some copies away. As you said, go to MarketingSecrets.com to get a free copy of the book if you don't get one of the giveaways. And good news for everybody. I had no idea. It's like, you know,
the gift that keeps on getting
it's the gift that keeps on getting better and better, and that is upgrade. $27, and you're going to get the audio version of Russell's.
It's $47 for the audiobook, so it's a screaming deal.
Holy, look at that. I mean, that by itself is $47. You're going to get it for $27, plus everything else that we got going on tonight. Dude, that's amazing. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you. As we wind down here, buddy, any final thoughts?
You know, I think the biggest thing, I just got done, the reason I'm in a hotel, I just got done speaking at Garrett White's WarriorCon. So I was down there with 600 men for the last 2 hours talking to them about this stuff, about expert secrets, that stuff. And like, the biggest thing I feel, the reason why I get asked a lot, like, Russell, you guys are making crazy money. Like, why are you still doing this? Why are you on the road? Why are you talking, like, why are you so excited still? And it's like, it's amazing for me to see, like, what happens when an entrepreneur has the right information and tools to be able to go and affect people, right? Like, one entrepreneur can affect 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 people's lives. And I'm listening, like, everyone who's listening here, you guys are entrepreneurs. My definition of entrepreneur, problem that's not their own. Did I just get frozen?
It's like impeccable timing. It's like, Sorry, hang on. It's impeccable timing when it freezes because you're like, my definition of an entrepreneur, and then we're
Russell's not cursing a lot. It's just the internet.
Yeah.
Not even.
No, but I think. Go ahead. Define that.
He said the definition of entrepreneur is somebody who finds a problem, finds a problem that's not their own and makes it their own personal responsibility. I think for everyone listening, like the biggest thing is like to be an entrepreneur is like looking around you and looking at what are the problems that are there. Instead of blaming other people, it's like, that's my problem. I'm going to solve that for a whole bunch of other people. Solve it for myself and other people. If you do that and you start running with it, like, I don't know about you, but I legitimately believe that entrepreneurs are the people that change the world. I think anyone here, it's not just you're going to make money. That's a byproduct of it, but you will literally change somebody else's world if you do it. And so it's worth it. It's worth the risk and the pain and the fear, because when you do it, like, it's there's nothing better in the world than seeing someone's life change because of something you created. Like, it's what keeps me going and moving and excited every day. So.
Well, listen, you are changing a whole lot of people's lives, mine included. I'm very grateful to you as a friend and as a colleague, and just, you know, just seeing what you're doing with the company. I get so much inspiration, and I send you messages all the time because I'm inspired not only by what you're doing with the business, but I get inspired by how you're using the business to impact other areas of your life, like with your kids and your beautiful wife, Colette. Like, I got to just share with everybody. I mean, this is a perfect example of Russell, the big kid. So, are you okay with me telling people what you guys have just done in your backyard?
Yeah, it's on the most recent episode of Funnel Hacker TV, so it's now public, so go for it. Okay,
so Russell was telling me about this before they did it, and I was like, "You're gonna what, dude?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." And so here's a perfect example. So, you know, why do we do this? Why do we build our businesses? Like, sure, we want it to grow. Sure, we want to generate revenue and money and so forth. But what are we going to do with that? Like, what are you going to do with the money that you make? Well, there's a number of options. You can buy stuff, you know, like cars and houses and all that kind of stuff. One of the avenues that, you know, I'm passionate about is I love giving money away. This is why we're doing it tonight, you know. By the way, we're closing in on $22,000. So I'm excited about that. So that's another thing. The other thing is, like, you know, investing your money in creating amazing experiences for the people that matter most in your life. And Russell, you've totally, like, opened my imagination to a whole new level. Because this year, what Russell and his wife did, they have some land with their home, and before it was like all overgrown with weeds. And I remember like getting messages from you about the nightmare it was to like hire somebody to come and chop that all down, and then it'd be growing back.
You rented goats to come eat it all down, and then grew right back afterwards. You rented 98 goats.
And it was just this gong show of a backyard. And then so Russell and Colette said, you know what, like, let's just turn it into this big athletic complex. And like when you were first telling me about this, I'm like, dude, what? And so let's give people some perspective. And I encourage them to go check out the latest episode of Funnel Hacker TV so they can see it visually. But to give people some perspective, it is like a baseball field, a soccer field, with fully turfed, by the way, a basketball court, 9 in-ground trampolines, like 9 trampolines in the ground, a rubber track that wraps the whole thing around. It is amazing. And then like not only, and the volleyball court, and then seeing it being built and seeing it like now, and seeing your kids use it, like that's what, you know, fires me up, is seeing them off of like devices and seeing them outside playing and enjoying and laughing and giggling. And dude, it's super inspiring. And I want to give you a ton of credit for the way that you have continued to use your business to serve your audience, to serve so many people, but also to take care of those that matter most.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's funny. I had an interview last week with Nathan Lackett. He said, "What are you investing all your profits in?" I was like, "My kids." He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, let me show you what I just built." He's like, "What?" Like, try to, like, that's what we got in the business. Like, remember, like, what did little Russell want? He want money. The trampoline, 9 of them. So,
well, I love it, dude. And I'm very, very grateful that you were able to take the time tonight. I know you've been busy, and it was a squeeze to get you in tonight, but I'm grateful that you were able to join us. And thank you so much for the way that you contribute.
Thanks for having me, man. Super fun. Appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a night. Golly, like I don't know about you, but my journal has many pages of notes. Some of the big takeaways, Carrie talked about doubling down on her community and the shift that made in her, that it's not about necessarily selling products or growing the business. It's about growing the community. And we heard that word come up several times. We heard Ryan talking about some of the big shifts in his company, and I loved his insights moving forward. He particularly talked about the book The Four from Scott Galloway, talking about the big four companies: Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple. Thank you. Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple, and how important it is for you and I as entrepreneurs to be thinking about how we can leverage those four companies and platforms. So that was tremendously insightful. Then we also heard from Kevin Rogers, and I love Kevin's story about getting vulnerable, about sharing his story about getting back into stand-up comedy, and the difference that's made in his connection with his audience and his community. We heard about from Rachel. One of the things that I wrote down from Rachel is she said, if you celebrate people, they will celebrate you back. And she talked about the importance of community as well, and how that has been a huge driver for her and her business. Then we heard from James, and I wrote this down from James, where he said, a happy life is what makes us money. Money doesn't make us happy. A happy life makes us money. I just thought that was awesome. He talked about the importance of doing the inner work, because the inner work is what impacts everything else in the business. And he gave us some great tactical things that he's been doing too, like the personalization and the examples of that with selling his mastermind and so forth. It was just awesome. Then we heard from Amy Porterfield, and it was great to talk to Amy again, because Amy's just one of those people who just continues to grow her business, level up, as everybody is tonight. But she talked about how last year, or this year, she really wanted to automate because she was feeling burnt out with live launches, and so she wanted to automate her business. But now, moving forward, she got that dialed in. And one of the things that I love about what she talked about was actually picking up the phone, calling people who bought her product, and that spawned a whole big insight that helped her massively improve her conversions in terms of the reasons why people were buying. But then also her insights about moving forward, which is all about for her, rekindling that connection, because when things got too automated, she missed that connection with her audience, and she talked about the importance of that and how she's going to be rekindling that. So that was awesome to hear. Then we heard from Jeff, who's been around for so long and can, I just have so much respect for people that are able, like Jeff, to sell a product and to sell it successfully year after year after year after year. To do that, you've really, really got to have your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the market, and be willing to experiment. And that's what he talked about. His big breakthrough this year was having that willingness to experiment on a product that has been tried and true for decades. And yet, through that experimentation, had a big insight, which was, more bonuses on the front end led to a higher conversion. And then we talked about some of the things that he's going to be doing moving forward in 2018. And then we finished off with Russell. And Russell, this is a guy that has taken a company from zero to closing in on $100 million in a 3.5-4 year period. It's incredible, the growth that ClickFunnels has experienced through his leadership. And I just love his viewpoint and perspective on the world. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the basics. He said, the big thing for us this year was focusing on our sales funnels and making sure that the offer is compelling, so that that little kid in you that was fresh and raw and green would be just as excited about it then and now. And he said, if you're not excited about it, your people aren't going to be either. And so I just love him doubling down on that. And then his insights moving forward. Here's a guy that's got his finger on the pulse of over 55,000 entrepreneurs, being able to see things that you and I can't see on the surface, and talking about designing the sites for mobile first versus desktop first. That was a big one. And then the innovations that are coming from that, particularly with Apple Pay and Android Pay and mobile users being able to pay so quickly. That in and of itself is a huge mind shift for those for us to be thinking about in terms of the experiences, buying experiences we create. So there's just so much greatness contained here tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it, the free broadcast, and I want to encourage you to upgrade and get the upgrade package. It includes unlimited replays. It includes audio, video recordings. It includes all the transcripts. It includes summaries. Our team's going to be going to work. We're going to be going through the hours of footage. We're going to be distilling down the big ideas so that you can take action on them. Plus, it includes all the bonuses that we talked about tonight. So Ryan's got a bunch of examples in Swipe File. James has got a bunch of examples in Swipe File. Russell is including the audio version of Expert Secrets, which by itself is $47. So that in itself just pays for the upgrade tonight. And all of it is available for $27 if you buy before midnight Pacific time tonight. So I'd highly recommend you go and order now. I mean, afterwards, it's still going to be available, the upgrade package. It'll be $97. But whether it's $27 or $97, 100% is going to hurricane victims in Florida. We are closing in on $22,000, which is amazing. High fives to you and everybody who has contributed. I'm super grateful for that. Finally, I want to give some copies of the book away because we do have some copies I want to give. And so I want to say congratulations to Christine Jerry. You have won yourself a copy of Russell's book. Laura, is it Salonas? Hopefully I pronounced that right. So Laura, congratulations. You've won yourself a copy. Next one is Shruti Acharya. I know I'm messing that up. I apologize sincerely. But Shruti, you have won yourself a copy. And Christy Richardson, Ricky Heller, and Danielle Omar. You two have won yourself a copy of Russell's Expert Secrets. Congratulations. Our team will be touching base with you to be able to send that over. Listen, it's been a great night. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the comments. We got tons of great comments here from Derek and Kate and Martina. Thank you guys. Jerry said the easiest $27 I ever spent. Thanks, Stu. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you to everybody for jumping on. Lastly, I want to say thank you to our team. You don't realize it, but behind the scenes, there is a heck of a lot happening to be able to bring this to you. And I want to thank the team for the production that they have put together to be able to bring this. I know we had a few glitches, but that's what happens when you got a whole lot of people hitting the same thing at the same time. But I just want to thank them from being behind the scenes. They have worked their butts off to put this together well before the event, the day of the event, and throughout the broadcast. So thank you to the team. They're amazing, and I'm super grateful to be a part of such an amazing team. So listen, it's been a great night. I hope you've had a great 2017, and I also hope that tonight can help you have an incredible 2018. Two quick things I want to share with you. Number one, if you have not yet, I highly recommend you just go check out the Marketing Your Business podcast. That's the behind the scenes of what we're doing in our business to continuously grow. You'll hear a couple episodes about this very broadcast and behind the scenes about this broadcast. So go to iTunes, take a look at that, search Marketing Your Business. Sometimes it'll show up with that. Sometimes you might need to say Marketing Your Business Stu, S-T-U, and it'll definitely show up. But go subscribe to the podcast. I think you'll enjoy it. Number two, do you know somebody else who could benefit from tonight's broadcast? Tell them about it. Even if it's just one person, tell them to go to MarketingForecastLive, because we're going to continue to sell the upgrade package until I think the middle of December. I think it's December 15th that it's going to be available after tonight for $97. But you know how valuable it is, and you know that 100% of everything that is contributed tonight goes directly to those hurricane victims in Florida. So make sure, share this broadcast. It was awesome. I'm so grateful to everybody that showed up and the way that they showed up and the information that they shared. And I'd be grateful if you too go and share it with others. So with that, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Good luck with your business in 2018. Make it a great year. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.